Hello, my friends. Coming on a little early tonight with you. Actually, running a little bit late, actually, but I wanted to come in before it all finished up. And welcome one and all. Please share this out. Hold on one second. I don't need this right now. But welcome to the Sned Shed, my friends. So glad to be with you tonight. A lot going on, a lot of good stuff going on. Things that I've been waiting years for, and that are happening. So we'll get into that a little bit tonight. Looking forward to having a special guest, Tony O'Brien, to talk about the immune system, and also Todd and Cindy are going to be in. And we're gonna be dropping some heat tonight. So fasten your seatbelts. We are still not on Facebook, so please share this out. Because we're only at 537 right now, which is half the numbers we're normally at this time. Because of we're not seeing anybody on Facebook. So please share this out so that we can get our numbers back up, and we do not allow Facebook to censor us anymore. So let me get to it, my friends. A couple things. First off, let me get into the chat room here with you. Let's see who all is here, and let me see. Hold on one sec. There we are. All right, here we are. Get into the chat room here with you. Let's see who all is here, and let me see. Hold on one sec. There
Gotcha.
we are. Now we're good. All right.
So
we
get into the
check
chat
your coat
room here with you.
my friends. Look at this beautiful quilt I have behind me.
See, hold on.
It says check your coat.
There
It
we
says
are.
David Snedeker, head
Right.
Sned, Cindy, and Todd.
Get into the
Check
chat
your coat.
room
It has
here
some
with you.
other
My
quotes
friends,
that I
look
want
at
to.
this,
I'll get to
beautiful quilt I have
in
behind
due
me.
time.
Hold on.
But I
Says,
want
check
to
your coat.
read this
There we are.
lovely
Snedeker,
card
head
from
Sned,
y'all.
Cindy,
Right here.
check your coat.
It has some
Beautiful,
other
my
quotes
friends,
and
look
cat
at
there.
this,
I'll get to.
beautiful
And
quilt
hello,
I have
Dave.
behind
Due
me.
time. My cousin and I put a quilt together for you. We wanted to show appreciation for all you do. Thank you, Dave, for waking people up.
And
hello,
keep up
Dave.
the great work. God
My
bless
cousin
you
and I put
and
in
your
your family.
family.
Delia
Wanted to
and
show
Darla,
appreciation
for
for
all
all
you
you
do.
do.
Thank you,
Yours,
Dave,
cat
for
there.
waking people
And
up.
hello,
Keep up
Dave.
the great work. God
My
bless
cousin
you
and I put
and
in
your
your
family.
family.
So thank you very much
Delia
for that.
and
Darla,
lovely ladies.
appreciation.
And
what a lovely
thank
quilt.
you, Dave, for
And
waking
people
people
up.
And hello,
Keep up
Dave.
the great
God
work.
bless
It's
you.
warm here in the Sned
So
Shed.
thank you very
And
much for that.
and also
Darla,
send some
ladies.
great messages
And what a
to
lovely
all the
quilt.
beautiful patriots over there.
And hello,
We're getting
Dave.
an audio overlay,
God
two of you
bless
here in the
and
Sned
so
Shed.
thank you very
Hold
much.
on, and also
Darla,
send some
ladies.
great messages
What a
to
lovely
all the
lady.
beautiful
And
patriots if
over
I
there.
can. We're getting an audio overlay, two of you here in the Sned Shed.
Thank you very
Hold
much.
on. Yeah, I had a little
send some
audio
great
issues coming in
Patriots.
to the. We're getting an audio overlay
show,
two of
didn't
you
we?
because it sounded like.
Hold on.
Yeah, I had something was going
audio
on, and that's coming in to the. We're getting an audio overlay show, didn't we? Because it sounded like. Yeah, I had something was going on, and that's coming in, and it's just when I turn on the chat. Okay. Interesting. Okay, I got it off now. Thank you. Okay, it's just that window, my friends, with the chat. When I was showing you the chat, so well, you wondered, my friends, how many Daves you could take at a time. Now you know the answer. Dave's not here, man. Okay, we good? Benjamin says, sounds like my LSD days. Awesome. Twilight Zone, echo of an echo of an echo. Okay. So let me see here. Okay. And I'm hearing that a little bit delayed there on the Are you still hearing two of me? Or, yeah, that might be a good way to avoid getting banned, huh? If they can't track, what the things I'm saying. Of course, then you wouldn't track the things I'm saying either, would you? Let me see. Let me see. Let me make sure that I am completely out of the problem here. Okay. And I think I am. Okay. There we go. Just double checking. We are still not on Facebook. We are still being censored off Facebook. And here we go. Okay. Yeah, I think we're good now. My friends, we got 700 in the theater. Please share this out. We will keep railing against the Facebook Meta machine. We're going to share some things with you tonight about Meta. Very disturbing, very concerning, and yeah. And so this is going to be quite the show. All right, my friends. So I'm going to jump right into it. I'm going to have a lot of commentary as we go. So I want to let's check in. Everyone check your coat. If you're new here, please let us know. We'd love to say hello. Many of you have reached out saying, I'm new. I've been following you for a week or two. We are over 830 shows of the indoctrination. And the first, I don't know, maybe 250 or 300 of those, I was just walking the beach or walking wherever I was, chatting with you. Now we've gotten into a studio and we are showing you some of the things that we're covering so that you can read along, see along. And so great to be at this level, and but always welcoming of new people. You are among friends. There are no strangers here. We have the mod squad that keeps this chat room quite lovely and free of trolls. Every once in a while, we'll have one pop in, thinking it's about them and not about seeking out the truth. And so we welcome your questions. We welcome your input, but we don't tolerate ignorance here. So we ask you to open your mind and be kind. And we start by saying we're coming into a warm theater here. You don't need your big, heavy indoctrination coat. So imagine that you've got your preconceived notions, your unconscious bias, your ego all wrapped up in this big, heavy winter coat. You're entering a beautiful, warm theater. You don't need this big, bulky coat. So we ask you to just take it off, check it at the coat check, grab a claim ticket. All your beliefs, all your preconceived notions are safe there. There is nothing to worry about. You can grab it whenever you want or on your way out of the show. And we will be absolutely downloading some fresh information that will be able to come to you without the dukes up, the barriers up, the preconceived notions up. Those are all checked at the coat check. So grab a snack, grab your favorite drink, your favorite person, your favorite you, your favorite pet. Cheers, everybody. Come on in. And here we are. We are right now 939 strong, soon to be 1,000. We're going to hear Billy Pack. Hey, Dave, Billy Pack here in Ohio. I hear a storm coming. Awesome. Another much love to the brave drivers on the Freedom Convoy. Absolutely fantastic. The brave drivers on the Freedom Convoy. My friends, this is, we've got big news today. And yeah, the convoy is amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I am so proud of our Canadian brethren that are up there doing some serious railing against the machine that is the Canadian, beholden to the crown, and certainly much tyranny going on right there. I really want to just open with some of my tweets today and what I found to be um, what I found to be very telling in the world today. I was a little bit busy on Twitter. You can always watch us on Twitter as well, by the way. Let me see. Let me delete these. There's a few things there. Okay, and so one of the things that I wanted to share with you is this fabulous convoy, obviously, and up in Canada because that is absolutely fantastic. It's nice weather either. It's a commitment. All right. So amazing. They're sending this message to me. They're sending a message. Yes, this is a quilt that was just sent to me. She's read the awesome, awesome. Okay, and by the way, Becky says Wisconsin decertified their vote for Biden. Is that true? Is that definitely happened? Um, I'm looking for I'm looking for the news. Please send a link to that. Excuse me, in the chat. I got to see that. Excuse me. Um, and not seeing that in the Twitterverse. Becky, where are you seeing that? Randy's saying Wisconsin will drop the hammer. I do see that happening if it hasn't happened already, as we mentioned the other night on the show when we showed you what's going on with Wisconsin. Let me see. Yeah, things are heating up, my friends. Wow. Wisconsin just voted to decertify their 10 electoral votes. All right. Somebody send me that story here in Dave Sned at Gmail, please. I am not seeing that yet. And huge breaking news. Yeah, Christy just sent it to me. Here we go. Wisconsin Assembly votes to move forward Representative Ramtham's resolution to reclaim Wisconsin's 10 electors for president and vice president that were certified under fraudulent purposes. I need that video, and here we go.
Bill 743 be passed. All gentlemen from the 59th on passage.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Permission to read from printed and/or electronic documents from time to time?
Without objection.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I rise to embrace Assembly 3 privilege resolutions. Any resolution or joint resolution relating to the officers, members, former members, procedures, or organization of the Assembly or Legislature is privileged in that it may be offered under any order of business by a member who has the floor and may be taken up immediately before all other proposals unless referred by the presiding officer to a standing committee or to the calendar. I have a resolution I wish to present to the Chief Clerk.
Assembly Joint Resolution 120.
Assembly Joint Resolution 120, relating to Wisconsin election reform and reclaiming the electoral ballots for president and vice president that were certified under fraudulent intent and purpose.
That resolution has been referred to the Assembly Committee on Rules. The question before the body is, having been read 3 times, shall Assembly Bill 743 be passed? Gentleman from the 59th on passage.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The plenary rights of each state legislature. All right, then. Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend rules to withdraw.
The motion to suspend the rules and withdraw a resolution from committee is not in order under the 10th order of business. We are on the 10th order of business. That is an improper motion. Question is, having been read 3 times, shall Assembly Bill 743 be passed? All in favor of passage will say aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill's passed. Gentleman from the 5th.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask unanimous consent to suspend the rules and immediately message AB 743 to the Senate.
Gentleman from the 5th asks unanimous consent that the rules be suspended and Assembly Bill 743 be immediately messaged to the Senate. Is there any objection? Hearing none, it's in the Senate. Clerk will, gentleman from the 5th.
Did I miss something? Did I miss something on that? I feel like that is not the video that we're looking for here. Unless I missed it because I was, let's see. That was all the video that was on. Here we go. Let's see if we can get an updated video, maybe. Yeah, not seeing this vote. Yeah, it's in the Gateway Pundit. I'm in the Gateway Pundit, folks. It's in. So Gateway Pundit is on it, but the let me see. Huh. Let me see. Yeah, not finding the video outside of that one, the Gateway Pundit. Passed the House, sent to Senate. Yeah, we have mods. What's the problem and where is it? It's just in the House. Now it goes to Senate. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Okay. We did hear the vote. Okay. All right. I was too busy trying to figure out my system here, which is causing me some problems today. Yeah, I mean, the fact that it came to a vote and that they're even having this conversation is a big, big deal, right? Yeah, do the Republicans have the Senate? Should this be a done deal? Oh, it's a bot on YouTube. We get those once in a while. And I don't see them, by the way, but Christy, will you see if Barbara can check that out, please? And correct that in YouTube, not in Restream, because the bots don't show up in Restream. They know how to hide. So Wow, that's huge news, my friends. That's really big news, and we'll come back to that here in a little bit. And I also want to take you into some other huge news, and excuse me, and that is the following. We are going to bear with me here. There we go. All right, my friends. So we are into Dysentery Tuesday, which Christy came up with, which has to do with digging. Tomorrow's headlines tonight on the indoctrination, where the news unlocks a map. Opening segment, March Meta in Durham. Second segment, David and Todd's Decodes Deltas Dives. And then we have a special guest tonight, Tony O'Brien. Show contributors Texas Wolf, Brenda Kung, Rick DePlantis, Nancy Sutherland, Wendy Hayward, Chris, Melissa Grzybowski, Jen Davis, Cindy Plant, Lisa Savoya, James Yingling. Awesome. James, good to see you, brother. And my friends, let's start with President Trump. In case you missed it, evaluating Joe Biden's first year as president, Brooke Rollins for Newsweek. This ought to be interesting, my friends. There was a moment at the first Trump-Biden debate on September 29, 2020 in Cleveland when the contours of the American future were laid bare. After a brief verbal wrangle over the socialist propensities of a future Biden administration, the Democrat challenger pushed back. The party is me, Joe Biden said in his best état c'est moi mode. I know how to say that, but I'm not. I can't read it right now. Right now, I am the Democratic Party. President Donald Trump shot back. They're going to dominate you, Joe. You know that. Well, 1 year in, chalk up another vindication for President Trump. This is Newsweek, my friends. Joe Biden was propelled to the Democratic nomination by a coalition of center-left, working-class, and minority primary voters who preferred him as a pragmatic alternative to his array of far-left rivals. You'd never know it from his record in governance. As president, Joe Biden has been a forceful advocate for the priorities of far-left, mostly white, mostly upper-income progressives whose vision of the country and its future are, in a word, extreme. He's abandoned the ones who brought him, and as the 2020 election signaled, they're actively seeking alternatives. Biden isn't veering to the left because of any personal ideological conviction of his own. He's a political chameleon, and he's had to be. With a record in public office stretching back over half a century, the moment he first assumed public office in 1971 was closer in time to the Harding administration than to the Biden administration. Across that lengthy span, Biden has held nearly every position on nearly every issue. Some public figures achieve longevity in office through the advancement of a singular vision or emphatic point of view. Others make themselves into intellectual weather vanes, closely attuned less to the truth of any matter than to its present and future popularity. President Biden is definitely on the latter type. Trump understood this clearly. He knew that Biden would govern according to the dictates of the Democrat Party elites, and that those elites would pull him hard to the left on nearly every front. This isn't an interpretive exercise on my part. I know it because I spoke to President Trump about it in the final days before Biden's inauguration. The night before that inauguration, in his final hours in the White House, the president shared with me his fears for the country. His line in the debate that the far left was going to dominate you, Joe, was not just electioneering rhetoric. It was a prediction and a warning. 1 year after that day, the warning has proven entirely prescient. If you paid attention to news media over the past few weeks, you saw them mark a 1 year January anniversary on January 6th as worthy of commemoration as a dark day for America. It's true that events of that day deserve memory, if not quite in the same vein as the left would have you believe. But the truth is that January 6, 2021 was not the worst day for America that month. That day, the anniversary worth remembering is January 20th, 2021. The simple truth is that January 20th, not 6, changed the lives of Americans and for the worse. That's because the left and the Democratic elite are dominating Joe Biden now that he's in the White House. 1 year later, look to all the challenges facing America. Don't even have to get into it, but a looming war in Europe, a lost war in Afghanistan, rampant criminality in our cities, a pandemic wholly out of control, schools gripped by fanatical ideologues, supply chain breakdowns, and more. All these things are the direct consequences of, or were massively aggravated by, the governance of President Joe Biden. And that governance is a direct function of the cohort that does, in fact, dominate him. There is a particular man in the White House, but he, far older than any of the late Soviet gerontocracy, is a figurehead. The real rulers of the country are exactly who President Trump predicted: the socialists, the leftists, the progressive, the radicals. Look at what they've done and then consider that they have 3 years to go. This 1 year anniversary of the Biden administration is cause for regret, not for us who served its predecessor, but for the country. But there's also cause for hope. The American people see clearly what the left is and the fruits of its rule. They'll vote this year and again in 2024. The left-wing elites can dominate Joe Biden, but they cannot dominate us. We will get our chance to speak and reclaim what we've lost. Brooke Rollins is the President Chief Executive Officer at America First Policy Institute and previously served as Chief Strategist and Director of the Domestic Policy Council during the Trump administration. The views expressed in this article are the writer's own. Now, this is Newsweek, but it's not a Newsweek journalist. It is a opinion piece. But the fact that they're allowing such opinion pieces into Newsweek, such as this, I believe is a big step in the right direction of where the mainstream media is leaning, because they're starting to eat their own now. And this is very poignant and very important that we're actually seeing this. So that's great news. So this is where we're going next, and that is a very, very interesting shift in mainstream media and how they're turning on each other. Matthew Toon is an NBC executive who stepped up to organize the march against the mandates this past weekend. He hit his breaking point when he found out that he would need to get vaxxed to attend his daughter's graduation, and his daughter would need to get the booster. Let's watch this together.
But I know that one of the things that's motivating me is the fact that I might not be able to be at my daughter's graduation in May from DePaul University because I'm not vaccinated. And I know that's a small story, but I can't go to her graduation at this point. She's double vaxxed, and she has to get a booster by May in order to graduate. So I'm willing to die on this hill. March to show the world that we Americans will not tolerate this fascism.
Difficult to hear, but the fact that this man is an NBC executive that is stepping up to speak out against what is taking place right now is absolutely huge, right? And this is, once this dam breaks, my friends, you're going to see quite a bit of people.
You need to defend your civilization against the onslaught of this cancer of progressivism, liberalism, and globalist brainwashing. This is a life or death situation. No messing around. The prescription is 2 doses of InfoWars taken daily. folks, welcome back to the program. American Journal, Infowars.com, banned.video. There's another major headline. Just dropped 4 minutes ago. Boston patient removed from heart transplant list for being unvaccinated. A 31-year-old man has been removed from the heart transplant list at Boston Hospital because he is refusing to get the COVID-19 vaccine, his family said. DJ Ferguson was first on the list to receive a transplant at Brigham and Women's Hospital, but he is no longer eligible because of his vaccination status. His father, David Ferguson, said his son, who's fighting for his life in the hospital and is in desperate need of the transplant, doesn't believe in the COVID-19 vaccine, maybe because he pays attention to what the actual experts are saying. He says it's kind of against his basic principles. He doesn't believe in it. It's a policy they are enforcing. So because he won't get the shot, they took him off the list of a heart transplant. David told the outlet, "My son has gone to the edge of death to stick to his guns, and he's been pushed to the limit." Brigham and Women's Health, which is a Harvard teaching facility, says its policy requiring recipients to have the COVID-19 shot is in line with other transplant programs across the U.S. So I guess it's fine. I guess it's fine that now we just understand all of the hospitals will give you a death sentence if you don't get the vaccine. They will deny you a heart transplant despite the fact you're on the top of the list. They will just let you die. You don't get the vaccine, you have to die. Now, I know what you're thinking. Doesn't the vaccine damage the heart muscle? Or if you're on the waiting list for a heart transplant, wouldn't it be advisable not to take the vaccine that causes myocarditis? Of course.
Damn it, I was muted. Sorry about that, folks. Sorry, got it. Thank you, Christy. Little off tonight, my friends. Sorry about this. This is how Meta plans to use our bodies to read our minds. This is Meta, which is Facebook, which has banned us once again for the umpteenth time. Here's what's going on. Meta Platforms, the rebrand of Facebook, has recently filed hundreds of patents with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office that would employ mind-reading techniques with new eye, face, and body tracking technologies. One Meta patent for the headset will detect the user's facial expressions. Another is for a robotic eye that, like the human eye, tracks the movements of the user's eyes to understand the elements in virtual reality that attract attention and those which don't. Another patent is for a thin robotic skin that will track body movements. All these technologies will read the human body in order to read the human mind. Get a load of this. Facebook is investing $10 billion in these virtual reality technologies because it wants to understand you better so it can improve the user experience and better target you with personalized ads. But as we've already seen with social media tracking, technologies developed to sell ads can be purchased by the government intelligence and law enforcement agencies to reveal our personal information. This is tragic because what is happening is if you go to Silicon Valley, what you're going to find is you're going to find the number one revenue model in Silicon Valley is tracking you and me and selling our data as best they can to target those that they can close the deal with easier. So there's an act that is from the New York Daily News that is our government buying our data. Hold on, let me get back to this. And what can't the smartphone in your hand tell me about you? Our digital trails tell the story of our lives, from dating apps to medical conditions revealed by our search queries, to religious and political beliefs, to our financial difficulties or windfalls. Like the colored dots in a pointillistic portrait, these data points compose a complete portrait of individuals. Our digital devices often upload these most intimate details of our lives into the cloud, a system that stores and distributes our data to computers around the world. It's as if we allowed hordes of strangers to pass around our diaries and private financial ledgers while trusting them not to ever take a peek. This is coming at us, and it's coming at us in a huge, huge way that we must get on top of and make sure that we don't allow. And this is the computer that they've just unleashed, next-gen AI supercomputer that will identify harmful content and more. Like identify harmful content like, me saying, hey, be careful that jab, don't get that jab, right? Because it's genocide. Zuckerberg activates Overlord. That's what he called it. Overlord. RSC supercomputer to hunt for harmful content on Meta's platforms, among other things. This must stop. This is way out of control. Way out of control. Okay? Let me get to the big news of the night. This is very, very important. Okay? Durham. The Durham investigation that you are so well aware of. We are at 1,740 beautiful humans in the theater tonight. Welcome, one and all. Please share this out. We're going to get into some great stuff right now. Mark Elias has given a grand jury testimony to the Durham investigation. The criminal investigation of Sussman is ongoing. Today, John Durham provided a discovery update to the court in Michael Sussman case. In this filing available here, he disclosed that his team has obtained a tremendous amount of information ranging from a variety of sources, including Perkins Coie, the Hillary Clinton campaign, and former DNC Clinton lawyer Mark Elias. While Sussman has been charged with giving false statements to then FBI General Counsel James Baker regarding the Alpha Bank Trump Organization hoax, background here, Durham notes that the government also maintains an active, ongoing criminal investigation of Sussman's conduct. In other words, Sussman's criminal conduct likely is not limited to false statements. There is more. Because otherwise they would have said just his false statements. If we were able to make an educated guess, it may have to do with a conspiracy to accuse the Trump Organization of having secret back-channel communications with Alpha Bank. Now, to the evidence. Durham and his team have secured grand jury testimony from. This is where it's big. Let me show you this real quick. You know how, is it on here? No, it's not. No, it's not. Where did I get it? Well, this is definitely related. We're going to get into this with Todd a little bit. But basically, I was going to pull up the 80-20 and how the 80-20, here we go. The world is fighting back and destroying the cult. 20% public, 80% private. The world would otherwise collapse. Okay? 40,000-foot view again, and need to increase altitude to avoid conspiracy level was necessary. Godfather 3 for God and country. And this is why that is so true. 20% is public, 80% is private. Look at the grand jury testimony. former Perkins Coie partner and DNC Hillary Clinton lawyer Mark Elias, former FBI General Counsel James Baker. Again, they've secured grand testimony from these people. Current CIA employees. Durham and his team have completed interviews of the following individuals. Former FBI General Counsel James Baker. More than 24 other current and former FBI employees. 24, okay? Former FBI employees and current. Current and former employees of the CIA and DARPA. DARPA, you know, the makers of the heart attack gun and the makers of all things evil, the makers of Keyhole that they handed to Facebook for his metaverse many years ago. That they handed to Google, to Eric Schmidt of Google, and they called it now Google Earth. 12 employees of the internet companies referenced in the Sussman indictment. So the internet companies that are part of this conspiracy and a part of this problem. The former chairman of DNC Clinton law firm Perkins Coie, okay, the chairman of this huge, 12,000 member law firm, Perkins Coie, over 20 cities, I believe. A former employee of the Clinton campaign, okay, current and former employees of Georgia Tech involved in the Alpha hoax, where Trump was tied to Alpha Bank. An employee of Tech Executive One, a.k.a. Rodney Jaffe, a Sussman client who assisted with the Alpha Bank hoax. You understand that this was all part of a conspiracy to stop President Trump in his tracks as a candidate for president of the United States, and also to stop him in his tracks as the sitting president of the United States of America. This is the whole picture is the greatest scandal in the history of American politics, by far. By far. Hold on. So, there is more. Durham has obtained records and documents from the Hillary Clinton campaign. That's going to be damning. Perkins Coie, Hillary for America, Fusion GPS, a PR firm that advised Perkins Coie regarding public statements about Sussman's meeting with James Baker. Phone logs for numerous current and former FBI employees. Phone logs, that is going to be very damning. A classified memorandum and related reports of interviews pertaining to a criminal investigation previously conducted by the U.S. Department of Justice regarding a potential leak of classified information. He also has secured nearly 400 emails between the FBI and Perkins Coie from January 2016 through January 2017. Those are going to be very damning as well. There is also a curious paragraph discussing the fact that Durham in January 2022 learned from the DOJ Inspector General that they possessed 2 FBI cell phones of the former FBI General Counsel to whom the defendant made his alleged false statement, along with forensic reports analyzing those cell phones. Durham's team is going through all these cell phones now to analyze their contents. And there will be more, with Durham stating the government expects to receive additional information and documents in the coming weeks that may be relevant to the charged conduct. While we expected some grand jury testimony, the fact that Mark Elias, the DNC Clinton lawyer, was before a grand jury is certainly newsworthy. It's possible that Elias's testimony was limited to Sussman's involvement in the Alpha Bank hoax. As we previously noted, the Sussman indictment provided that Durham obtained emails between Elias and Sussman regarding the Alpha Bank allegations. But consider the possibility that Durham has used the crime-fraud exception to compel disclosure of information otherwise subject to privilege and to help elicit testimony. Under the crime fraud exception, communications are not privileged when the client consults an attorney for advice that will serve him in the commission of a fraud or crime. I'll say that again in layman's terms, right? If you have a lawyer, that you have attorney-client privilege with that lawyer. But if you're consulting with that attorney to serve you in a commission of a fraud or a crime, it's not privileged information. To meet this burden, Durham had to show two things: that the client was engaged in or planning a criminal or fraudulent scheme when it sought the advice of counsel to further the scheme. He had to prove that, right? That Durham demonstrated the attorney-client communications for which production is sought are sufficiently related to and were made in furtherance of the intended or present continuing illegality. So not only did he have to show that the client was engaged in this criminal or fraudulent scheme, but also that the communications with the attorney were to push that forward, that illegality. All this leads us to believe that Durham is focused on something more substantial than the false Alpha Bank allegations. Perhaps the inception of it all, the claims of Russian hacking, as we've said before, consider the possibility that evidence of Russian hacking was placed by the DNC, Perkins Coie, etc., for CrowdStrike to conveniently find. And you know what that's going to reveal? That the 187 order of two MS-13 gang members to kill Seth Rich, because these emails did not come from a Russian hack. These emails did not get to WikiLeaks through a Russian hack. They got to WikiLeaks because the man on the inside, who was a patriot by the name of Seth Rich, downloaded them on a thumb drive and got them to Julian Assange. So they killed Seth Rich. Okay, this is why this is so important. They killed Seth Rich on a city street, Washington, D.C., late at night. And I believe they killed him in the hospital because he was alive and talking on the way to the hospital. And the hospital was taken over, and we know that is a swamp. And they killed him immediately because he was just an IT guy. But they couldn't kill Julian Assange, but they're killing Julian Assange slowly, right? And they're killing Julian Assange slowly, and it's tragic. It's so tragic of what they're doing, and so this is a huge conspiracy. This is breaking out of the Durham report. This is you can read the entire Sussman indictment here. Very, 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 very telling. And again, it's 27 pages, and they're going after a heck of a lot more than what we might think they are, right? And then Hans Monkey, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'd love to get him on the show, actually. Wow, turns out Democrat law firm Perkins Coie hired a PR firm to advise them after Michael Sussman told the FBI alleged lies. Do you see how this is now? This has just happened today. So this information is coming out, and a public relations firm that advised law firm one concerning public statements issued in 2018 about the defendant's meeting with the former FBI general counsel. I'm sorry, they did it long ago, but once they realized that he lied to the FBI, that's when they hired the PR firm. Okay, Let's see. So this is so important. And then Mark Elias, did you leave Perkins Coie before or after your Russiagate grand jury testimony? Neither of them are still working for Perkins Coie, neither Sussman nor Mark Elias. 8,900 responsive documents in relation to the FBI communicating with the New York Times about Alpha Bank in the fall of 2016. Assuming that no comment doesn't take up 8,900 documents, this Durham filing is not just a shot across the bow of the Clinton campaign, but also the FBI. If you look at today's news, modern day news, what you'll also see is that the FBI is also communicating with the New York Times, and the FBI is also communicating with Pfizer. New York Times in regards to the absolute, violation of Project Veritas's First Amendment rights and Fourth Amendment rights, and the people of Project Veritas is who I mean, and also the FBI's communications with Pfizer and trying in this whole pandemic that is coming out as well. So this is very, very interesting and significant news. And Dawson's Field is saying new Durham filing not looking good for Sussman's co-conspirators. Perkins Coie, Jaffe Baker. This is, let me pull this up on. And Todd, if you want to call in, brother, I'd love to dive down this with you. I'm on the eCam link, please. The eCam link, same as last night. Let's see. The T. Otis, red pilling on Telegram group. If say they're more pink than red, feels good to help them. See at Dave Snedeker. Please do a rewind on some of the big stories like the Moose News debunk of Babbitt. I covered Moose News a while back. That would be a good thing to readdress, certainly, Otis, because of what we're seeing coming out now. I've got a video to share with you now about that. Let me see where I have that queued up. Let's see. Muriel Bowser and Donna Brazil visited Seth at the hospital. Absolutely. Seth Rich at the hospital. That was, and the doctors couldn't get to him. Like they had it blocked off, okay. So, let me see. Yes, I showed a little bit of the Canadian Freedom Truckers rally. I'm going to show more of that because it's so fabulous, right? Okay. So this is what's coming up here. This is from Michael Bosworth, Friday to John Durham, okay, and his team. CC, Sean Berkowitz, Natalie Rao, Catherine Yao. All external discovery. We write to follow up on your recent request regarding the upcoming discovery deadlines in this manner. During our call on January 20th, you requested our consent to the production of certain unclassified and classified materials after the January 28th and February 11th deadlines for all such productions, respectively, that are set forth in the pretrial order. Specifically, you requested an extension until the end of March for the production of the following materials. Hits on Sussman and Sussman in the FBI's enclave system to the extent you cannot produce relevant materials by January 28th. Hits on Sussman and Sussman among certain top secret FBI materials. Do you know how big this is going to be? Hits on, and there's some suggestions, Danchenko, Blumenthal, or Deripaska. But it looks like it's Blumenthal here, or yeah, they're trying to use the same size type to figure out what's been redacted. Sidney Blumenthal is the best pick, it looks like. The FBI's contracts with companies, let's see what that one might be, but possibly CIA's companies. Let me see if they do another one of those. Reports of interviews conducted by DOJ, OIG with FBI employees involved in Crossfire Hurricane. Crossfire Hurricane, that was basically the Obama campaign to dislodge President Trump from the presidency and the campaign. Hello, my friends. I hope you weren't waiting long. I just noticed you.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, we've been here all night.
What's happening?
Oh, nothing.
Not much.
Another boring Tuesday.
Another boring Tuesday. I just wish we had, news to cover.
Yeah, I know.
Either that or I wish I could divide myself into 10 people so I could figure out what the hell I want to talk about.
I hear you. I mean,
Tell him what you said a while ago.
What did I say a while ago?
He said this pimple is ready to pop.
Oh, yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah. I mean, now you see why we're having Ukraine problems.
Yeah. This is all tied together.
Don't look here. Gotta look over there.
Yeah.
Hi, Sneds.
Hey, Cindy.
Forgot to say hi to everybody.
We got 1956 Sneds in the house right now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
We got a friend coming on at a little after 8:30. And
for us.
What's that?
A quick, easy night for us.
Yeah. So awesome. Let's jump into it. We got a lot to cover.
All right.
But just in terms of following up on this, hold on. Let me make sure. Let me get back to this. The materials generated by the FBI's inspection division, materials responsive to our request for information regarding the number of individuals at the February 9th, 2017 Agency 2 meeting, forensic reports of Mr. Blank's cell phones, including call log and text message data, FBI protocols regarding anonymous tips. Sounds like they're getting quite a bit of information here, Todd.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Could you imagine, like you always said, there's more good than bad. Not everybody.
In these agencies, you mean?
Well, I think everywhere,
Yeah, that's true.
This massive of a conspiracy, has to leak out. That there has to be leaks, and it's just like the election. You're going to see patriots popping up from everywhere once that egg's cracked open.
Yeah.
And they're out there trying to scream right now, but they're being, there's a big boot on their face right now, so they can't scream, but wait till they're allowed to scream. And I think the cracking of the mainstream media that you showed earlier is going to, at some point, Dave, everybody's going to try to save themselves.
Yep.
And, these aren't honorable people. They're not going to go down and take the hit. They're going to take everybody with them. Yep. And, we were a little premature on the circular firing squad, but you're going to see these guys, throwing each other under the bus to try to save themselves so quick. That's why I think Q said once it goes, it's going to go fast.
Yeah. Well, I think what we're seeing here, the opening story of the mainstream media, right? This NBC executive. We've got Whoopi Goldberg, something she said today. Let me play this real quick for us.
Well, what about Bill Maher,
Yeah, let's check this out.
I don't want to live in your paranoid world anymore. Your masked
Let me
paranoid.
go back to
Just people on the fringe either who are speaking out like this. And over the weekend, Bill Maher made a case for people who are vaccinated, boosted, and have been following the rules since all of this started. Take a look.
I don't want to live in your paranoid world anymore. Your masked paranoid world. You go out. It's silly now. You have to have your mask. You have to have a card. You have to have a booster. They scan your head. Like you're a cashier and I'm a bunch of bananas. I'm not bananas, you are.
That's not really funny to people who've lost their kids to this vaccine, or people who've lost family members or dear friends to this. It's just, listen, nobody on the planet really wants to go through this. This is not something we're doing.
I don't think you make that mistake, Todd. No. Cindy, this is comms, right? You don't say, you don't make the mistake
Lost
of
their kids to that vaccine.
to jabs, right? Listen to this again.
Dear friends to this, it's family members or to this vaccine, or to people who've lost their. It's not really funny to people who've lost their kids to this vaccine, or people who've lost family members or dear friends. Not really funny to people who've lost their kids to this vaccine, or people who've lost family members or dear friends to this. It's just, listen, nobody on the planet really wants to go through this. This is not something we're doing because it's, sexually gratifying. This is what we're doing to protect our families. And you don't have to do it, but stay away from everybody. Because if you're the one who's not paying attention, and you're coughing and sneezing, you don't want to, then stay out of the public, man. This is not, nobody wants this.
How about that? And the narrative was, we were basically saying, hey, if you're afraid, stay out of the public. Stay home. Now it's the people that aren't afraid are supposed to stay out of the public, and how many people were lost to children to this jab. She said, it's like.
And the way she said, we aren't doing this because we enjoy
sexually
it.
gratifying.
Yeah,
sexually gratifying. Yeah, how about that, Cindy? Good call.
That reveals a sick side of them.
Yeah, it really does.
Disgusting.
I think this is a flat out calm.
I mean, Dave, would that ever even remotely cross your mind as
not at all
a way to explain your side?
Not at all. Makes no sense at all. No sense at all.
But you could see where it'd be sexually gratifying to someone who is into genocide.
Yep.
Like look at how Gates giggles every time he talks about all the deaths. Oh, there'll be 10 million deaths.
Yeah.
I mean, there's video, there's evidence of that multiple times, over and over and over.
Yep.
Sick.
Yep.
They're just sick fucks, and that's it.
Yeah. Yep.
And Whoopi's one of them.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
She always has been, or he always has been, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's when we're going to find out quite a bit about these people, and it's whether it's even them or whether it's the actors. We're watching a show, and she just gave it away.
She's changed a lot in looks too.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't watch her, so I don't know. Maybe she's looked
you're
like
a big
this
View fan.
Well, here's
right.
Christy and I were talking today about the squirrels, right? How people are talking about, well, is it the real Trump, or is it the real Whoopi, or is it the real Obama, or is it the real Biden? Here's the thing. Whether it's the real person, the clone, a stand-in, an actor with a mask on, it doesn't matter. What matters is that they are reading from a white hat script. You see, up until now, people like Whoopi, people like Biden, people like Obama, people, all the people I just mentioned, were reading a script. They were reading a script written for them by, whether it was their speechwriter or whether it was the writers on the show. But rest assured that it was controlled. They weren't allowed to talk about certain things, which is why, here's the way you look at it. You look at the people with the most views, right? And I'm talking about the late night talk shows and the daytime talk shows and the NFL halftime shows and all these different levels, all the sports. Like look at how the sports has absolutely pushed this pandemic better than anybody. All the professional sports, okay? All the college sports, you have to get jabbed, and you're criticized if you don't, right? And so, but you look at all the top viewers, trust me when I tell you that they are the epitome of the indoctrination. The epitome of the indoctrination are these people that have the most views, the most listens. But here's the thing. The more that people awaken to their agenda, the fewer and fewer and fewer people are listening to people like this. Because they understand that they're reading from pre-approved scripts pushing an agenda. We've talked about all the different layers, the Netflix shows, the Amazon shows, the studio productions, the telling of history in a way that serves the population that controls the greater population. But as these viewers dwindle, okay, and the viewers down here that were once small grow, they are stamped out by, like us. We're getting stamped out, all right? It took us, we're now up to 2052. It took us about an hour and a half to get here, when normally we would be here a little bit earlier, but also we should be growing. And yet we struggle to do that, and we're constantly getting our legs cut out from under us. Why? Because we're at the tip of the spear. We know what we're talking about. We're talking about the things that really matter, and less people are listening to idiots, controlled propagandists that will hang for the job that they are doing in keeping the truth from the human population that are being murdered by not understanding the truth. So this is shifting. And that's why you have, your Neil Young, who was once popular, okay, and great, a Canadian, by the way, who is basically telling us how we should be living our lives, or he criticized back in the 70s. I tweeted this. He criticized the South, the American South. Then he doubled down on and criticized Alabama, was very derogatory about him. And then Leonard Skinner got pissed off, and they loved Neil Young. Leonard Skinner got pissed off, and they wrote the song "Sweet Home Alabama." And the line in that song was, I hope Neil Young will remember, a Southern man don't need him around anyhow. And Joe Rogan now lives in Texas. He's a Southern man. You don't need them around anyhow. But this is, and Neil Young since regrets that, and had great regret for having done that, and honored Leonard Skinner more ways than one after Leonard Skinner went down in a plane crash devastatingly. But the fact of the matter is that he's trying to get Joe Rogan cut off Spotify. Well, guess what? He just exposed more people to Joe Rogan. He's got 63,000 followers on Twitter. Joe Rogan has 8 million. Who's going to win that? Neil Young has a couple million downloads a month. Joe Rogan has a couple 100 million downloads a month. Who's going to win that battle? But it's bringing to light exactly what it is we need to bring to light. And so that's my little spiel on that. So, Todd, I kind of wanted to just mention, how you mentioned that these people are going to start turning on each other, and we're seeing that with the mainstream media right now.
Yeah, we were just a little premature. I thought things would go a little faster,
Sure, I did too. Dude, you saw me in front of the stream in back of my home talking about these people were going down, what was that, 3 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
you were way off, Dave.
Any day now.
Yeah. And unfortunately I do have that feature on my Facebook where it says a year ago or 2 years ago you said this.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, oh man, come on, Todd. What were you thinking?
Yeah, we were way off.
We missed the timing, folks, but
yeah.
We tried not to give dates, and we fell for the head fakes that that Q gave.
Yep. And I even said, Jim Rice said, he who yells the loudest. I said, regarding Neil Young, he who screams the loudest, and he screams when he sings. He doesn't sing, he screams. Anyway, so, yeah. Somebody said Tesla knows, says Neil. What's that?
Oh, go ahead.
Tesla News says Neil can't pull his music off Spotify because he doesn't own it. Poetic justice. That's amazing. So go ahead. You were going to say something.
Oh, I just was like, it's just so exciting to see. It's every day. It's like, what is going to be revealed? How are they going to do it?
Mm-hmm.
And when it's so obvious, and I don't know how long it's going to take to get through all of it. And I'm not very patient at this point, I got to admit. Because it's very difficult when we're going to have to start in kindergarten educating the people that don't know what the hell's going on. And I'll do it.
Yeah.
I think that's part of our job. I mean, it feels like that. And Q's mentioned, that's part of the job is to educate people so that they know what's going on and don't lose their minds before. But you just see so many damning things happening to the country, like all these illegals popping in and relocating them. And it's just, they're getting 8,500 troops ready to go defend Ukraine, and Joe says, well, they're not going to Ukraine. No, they're going to go under the control of NATO. And so it won't be Joe sending them into Ukraine. It'll be NATO.
Right.
So don't think, the sons and daughters of the United States won't be at risk. I do think that this is going to be,
excuse me.
It's going to be taken care of a different way than most people are going to think.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just saying, when he says, oh, I'm not going to send them to Ukraine, that doesn't mean they won't end up there.
Right.
That's the disingenuousness of what we have in office right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just makes no sense to have an open border on the southern border when you have Omicron, you have all these variants coming in, and you know this.
Are you talking about all of these young men?
Oh yeah, the young men that were supposed to be deported first of all.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're putting them on buses to different parts of the country. By the way, notice that the backpacks are all the same. Okay? These aren't, people that were like, "Oh, hey, there must have been a sale that they all
No,
took advantage of."
they have better shoes and pants than I have, Dave.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
they just walked all the way across the country.
And
But what they're doing, Dave, is they're coming out of this parking garage that they're going into, and they're later getting picked up by Ubers in vans, and they're taking them to the airport. And they actually asked them where they were going, and they gave the cities. They said Miami, Houston, and Atlanta.
is that right?
Yeah. So what?
And they're
What
all
are they
being
just
given
gonna go-
these backpacks.
Yeah, that's the Soros money, the NGO
Yep.
money.
Yeah. So they're going into this parking garage and then getting Ubers from there to the airport. And brand new shoes. I mean, these shoes, maybe not all brand new, but they definitely haven't been trekking for, hundreds.
Look at that white, really white Adidas.
They're sparkling white.
If I wore white Adidas for 5 minutes, they would look like I had them for 5 years. Look at those.
Yep. Yeah, this is unbelievable.
And this is right on Fox. This is all Fox News stuff. And there's a lot of people watching Fox. And
Yep.
I'm not saying that they're all of it's bad. I downgrade them. I denigrate them just as much as you do because I know half of the stuff at least is bullshit.
Yeah.
But when it comes to this, they are the only ones exposing.
Yep. They're lying to the country about enforcing Title 42, and they need to be held accountable. The national media wants the American people to be focused on Ukraine's border to distract from how the Biden administration has enabled complete lawlessness at our own. That's from Mercedes Schlapp. And, this is very, very telling. This is why we were talking about, well, how long has Russia been building up on the border, right? It's been months. And so all of a sudden it's a, huge priority, right? What's wrong with this picture? Well, it's because they have to distract. They have to use this foreign invasion to distract us from what's really going on, right? And it's not pretty. Yeah. So regarding the Durham dive, brother, anywhere you want to go with that? What's going on there?
We could touch on the Sussman reference as a part of the News Unlocks the Map if you want to just share that with the Sneds because I thought that was telling.
Yep. Yeah. Let's look up Sussman. Here we go. I'm sorry, I had you there already. All right. So go ahead, brother. So we're at 2332, right?
Oh wow, what happened to my computer? Hold on, Dave.
Really?
Yeah, Sussman's gone off my search bar. Hold on.
Lord.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is.
And you tell me to be prepared.
Hey, Ada, I always want you to be prepared, not me.
So we can do, basically it's, I think we just did.
Just Sussman in the toolbar.
Yep, 2332 and 2331 were the only ones that Sussman showed up as.
Yeah.
So
let's see.
One was October 4th, 2018. This says read carefully. This was the connection. The DNC lawyers met with FBI on Russian allegations before surveillance warrant. Okay.
Rosenstein to his account that he was just joking about wearing a wire?
Well, I don't know that there's evidence. That's one of the reasons why we have to have that. But he wasn't in the room by himself. We know that by his own admission there were others there. And so who else was in the room? What were the contexts? What was the context? I believe that we're innocent until proven guilty. And so this is one of those cases, even though I've been a strong critic, I think he has to have the ability to come before us and say what he did say and what he didn't say.
So obviously you're going to ask questions about that. What else do you want to get from him?
Yeah, you hit it in your lead up, Crystal. I think probably the biggest thing is there's other unanswered questions with regards to FISA abuse. There's a strong suggestion that confidential human sources actually taped members within the Trump campaign. We want to get some answers. Actually, we've been asking some of those questions for many months and have not received satisfactory answers. But it's really getting to the bottom of this for the American people, and hopefully we will in the very near.
When you say there's a strong suggestion, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, well, I can tell you in unclassified, and I've tried to make sure I only look at the unclassified information. There is strong suggestions in that with some of the text messages, emails, and so forth, who was involved, that extraordinary measures were used to surveil. Now, whether that was actually a confidential human source taping an individual, that's what I believe it is. But it's important that we look at this because the whole narrative of Spygate and tapping and all of that have been narratives that are out there but unproven. But in there was a suggestion that there was as many as 5 different people that perhaps came under the surveillance of the DOJ and FBI in the early days of the Trump transition and campaign, and I think that we need to get answers to that.
What everyone wants to know is how concerned should we actually be? Are we? Do you think we're going to be looking at a variant that is more?
So that is, Q sent us there, and right at the end there were 4 or 5 people that were actually spying on the Trump campaign. Q mentions SpyOp, Fusion GPS. You want to walk us through that, brother?
Yeah, this was on 8/9/18, so this is 4 years ago. Well, almost 4 years ago. It says SpyOp, Fusion GPS, Shell 2, and then Chuck Schumer to No Name, and then Perkins Coie, Shell 2, and then the 5 mountains under No Name. It seems like No Name, you know how you is that implying that No Name fits there?
You mean McCain?
Yeah. As they drop it down like that, you know how sometimes you drop it down and you put, now what, I didn't get the mountains.
I think that it's basically saying that it went to No Name. The Perkins Coie, Shell 2, and Washington Free Beacon were all connected with McCain. And yeah, McCain is McCain. Same letters, No Name.
Right.
Let's go to part 2, Fusion GPS, Perkins Coie now being revealed.
I mean, that pretty much tells you, doesn't it? It's like question mark. Didn't we just read a big drop on that?
Yeah.
It says former FBI General Counsel James Baker met during the 2016 season with at least one attorney from Perkins Coie, the Democratic National Committee's private law firm.
And if you go to Perkins Coie, you'll find there I'm getting the same one you were earlier today, 404 page not found.
Yep.
Because Sussman's no longer there.
The search for Mr. Sussman.
Yeah. And this is Goodlatte, who is he was a congressman from Virginia, served a lot of years, retired in 2018, I believe. But he said, as part of our joint investigation, I subpoenaed Glenn Simpson to appear for deposition. And we've also invited James Comey, Loretta Lynch, Sally Yates, Stuart Evans, Richard Scott, Sally Moyer, and Mike Cortan as witnesses. We'll subpoena them if necessary. Okay. And so that kind of gives us an idea of what we were reading earlier, probably about the Durham. What we also found is we followed Bob Goodlatte to find out what he was doing now. And that led us to the corporation that that is trying to preserve our digital rights, and that led to the Meta article that I shared earlier tonight.
Yeah, that's, guys, that people, and I still talk to people that tell me, well, I don't care if they know what I looked at, and maybe it'll be even more convenient for me if they can make suggestions about where I should shop or what I should buy, and I'm like, you're just not getting it. I mean, they're making basically a voodoo doll in virtual reality of you.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It's a great way to put it.
When you're sitting in a drive-thru, it pops up on your phone.
It's kind of like Gilligan's Island when the headhunter made the voodoo doll, and they stuck the needle in the foot and they hurt his foot hurt. It's just how and second of all, if you're willing to just give away your information like that, then be smart about this. They should have a place where you opt in to do that, and you actually get paid to do that because they're getting paid for that information.
Mm-hmm.
So why should somebody be able to monetize you?
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
Goodlatte, by the way, has not tweeted since 2018, December 25th.
Very quiet man.
Yeah. Now, I know this is at Representative Goodlatte, but he had 100,000 followers. I think you can change your Twitter and keep going unless you got to, obviously he didn't hand it off to anybody. But, that could come in handy in your new job too, let people know about the things you're doing.
Well, that's a beautiful background he's got there.
Watch the water.
Beautiful.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, in Lat, the way that he's got it spelled, that Latte, it's like latte.
Yeah.
Wake up and smell the coffee.
I like that. And it's a good latte, too.
Good latte.
And there, I make no beans about it.
Sometimes you just got to know when to stop, but
yeah, I don't have that filter.
That was pretty good though, actually.
Thank you. It's
Suck up.
It's good to the last drop here.
Oh my God.
Good night, folks.
You can't get this on Fox, folks. You're not going to get you're not going to get Gilligan's Island references, and you're not going to get really
double echoes,
creative puns.
That was infinity.
That was creative.
Mr. Whistle Whiskers, just not going to get it on these other places. So what do you think about?
We are the news now, like it or not.
Exactly. Hey, take us to 2332. Tell us what you think about that, please.
Well, it's that's, to tell you the truth, that's where I was. But they add this letterhead to Perkins Coie.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference. But what's interesting about this to me, Dave, is they're putting this out on their stationery. They're talking about creating secret stuff on their stationery. Do you think they ever thought they were going to be investigated?
No way. No.
They had the fix. The fix was in.
Yeah. I mean, they're literally talking about Fusion GPS approached Perkins Coie, and research on then presidential candidate Donald Trump. And then if you go down to the one below it, I mean, read that for us, dude. This is unbelievable here.
That's what I took out of it was what I remember when I saw this the first time, and I said they're putting it on their stationery.
Yeah.
It says no one knew just how bad the breach was, but it was clear that a lot more than a single filing cabinet worth of materials might have been taken. A secret committee was immediately created, including Miss Daisy, Miss Wasserman Schultz, Mr. Brown, and Michael Sussman, a former cybercrimes prosecutor at the Department of Justice, who now works at Perkins Coie, the Washington law firm that handles the DNC political matters.
Wow.
It's amazing. Thank you.
What do you think? How many people do you think are in the Sned shed right now?
In reality?
Yeah. Well, no. With what they're actually telling us is happening.
Oh, 2022.
There you go.
2020. Yeah. 2022.
2022. 2022 Snedheads in the Sned shed, dropping bombs right now. Bombs.
Bomb.
Boom. Boom week, my friend.
So
that is the news unlocks the map. Will you finish this out with the rest of this, please?
Yeah. How the spy op regarding Russia hacking plus POTUS Russia false narrative plus installation of Mueller was constructed. And then it's got a link, and are they going to give us a how-to instruction booklet along with this?
Here's the letterhead that we just saw. Matthew Geringer, General Counsel, he even signed it. It's like,
do you think we should share this with Mr. Durham?
oh my God, dude. Yeah, right. And then Russian government hackers penetrated DNC, stole opposition research on Trump. Yeah. Penetrated the computer network of the DNC and gained access. They had to do that. And I'm gonna say this, by the way. If you think of 9/11, the reason why they took over the media and they showed the same footage of the planes crashing into the building was because they had to show that the act of terror came from outside the building that would collapse the buildings. Otherwise, everybody would have been looking inside to find out who had access to drop that building from the inside. And once you look on the inside, then you start to unravel the owner, what's his name, Steen, the owner of the leaseholder of the Twin Towers. And then you would look to Marvin Bush, who held the security contract for the Twin Towers. You'd have to look to who would have had access and who would have had motive. That's an example of why you had to show these fake planes going into the buildings and then it do the explosion. Silverstein, thank you, Grace. Silverstein, Tom, thank you. Rat, awesome.
Hey, you mean that airplane didn't that little airplane nose didn't go all the way through that concrete and steel building and stick out the other side undented?
No.
And it's so funny when when I tell people, I'm like, do you know what an airplane's made out of? And they say, oh yeah, it's aluminum, and it's built to be light, correct? Yeah, oh yeah, it's built to be light. Okay, So you're telling me that aluminum aircraft going to, I don't care, make the speed whatever you want, is going to completely damage all the steel and concrete reinforcement. I'm sorry, it's not going to do that, because here's what I always told them. I said, take an empty beer can and go up to a brick wall and throw it as hard as you can.
Mm-hmm.
The brick wall's not going anywhere. Okay, shoot it out of a cannon. You think the tin can's going to win?
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling what they can actually make you believe.
Exactly. And so, but what the reason why they had to do that was they had to show an external terrorist act. So think about the DNC hack. Okay.
Yeah.
If the only guy who had access to those files happened to be murdered 2 days after they were published on the streets of D.C., and had a connection with WikiLeaks, and also WikiLeaks put out a reward for the information leading to whoever killed him. You have to show an external attack, and you have to pin it on the Russians. So that's why that was so effective for them, to show these kind of headlines in, again, the Washington Post, which we now know at the time was owned by Jeff Bezos, okay, and also is part of the propaganda machine that is meant to lie to us. And so, and then CrowdStrike. Britain, Australia, and New Zealand have accused Russian military intelligence of carrying out worldwide campaign of malicious cyber attacks, including the hacking of the U.S. So all of this was, why now, right? Because this was part of the narrative that they were using to try to sell us on this. UK blames Russian military for reckless cyber attacks. All around the timing. And look at CNN, right? What's their credibility now after losing 90% of their viewers? D5.
Yeah, that's got to really hurt their feelings.
Mm-hmm. This narrative is crumbling along with all the others.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Now, did you go down 329, 330, 331?
Yeah, I did.
Anything worthwhile?
Yeah, it does a lot of connect the dots. And it brings up a couple guys that, it brings up George Soros, which I can't wait until he goes down.
Oh.
And, Tucker's doing a really good little short interview with the president of Hungary. And, getting the story behind why Soros is not allowed back in his homeland.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is he doing it now?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's on that foxnews.com, the app, I think, on the Fox News app, where he's been doing a lot of really good interviews.
Well, I'll tell you, I just saw something with him and Geraldo earlier. And he was basically, Geraldo was saying, Hungary is, tyrannical or whatever, and Hunter was
that he's going right into the narrative.
Yeah, and Hunter and Tucker was like, well, wait a minute, they haven't jailed political prisoners. They have, like we have.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
They haven't acted in total tyranny like Biden has. This country has. So he totally just destroyed Geraldo.
Geraldo's going down.
Yeah. I can't get there, but I'll see if I can get there a little bit later. But that's good. And what's he saying about Soros? Soros was trying to disrupt the country, right? He's trying to.
That's his MO through. That's always been his MO, was destroying countries by open border policies.
Yep.
flooding borders, and that, he practiced on a lot of smaller countries.
Right.
And he tried it in Hungary, but they booted him for it.
Yeah.
He creates that chaos just like at the southern border. I think that's one of the big reveals that's gonna happen. And all those people that they showed coming off those buses had ankle monitors on.
Dude, I noticed that, and also that something was up with their shoes too. Like
So
they
I was
weren't.
just kind of wondering maybe if they're just putting them out there and tracking them until
Mhm.
until they want to pick them up.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you're just letting them go, then why would you have ankle monitors on them ever?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, what they're doing is, when they're letting these prisoners out of prison and they're letting these criminals across the border, they're not letting them in and saying, "Oh, I'll see you guys later." They're not saying, "Have a good life." They're saying, "Okay, we'll be in touch when we need you and where we need you." And they know how to get in touch with them because they know where they're at. And then they can have them, okay, we need you to show up at the March for Life in D.C. We need you to show up at this event here, and we need you to create a false flag and the whole bit. They've got a bunch of MK Ultra agents that are ready to do whatever they need them to do because they've given them freedom. They've allowed them into the country, and it's a small price to pay for them.
Well, on the other hand, Dave, if you look at it from I looked at it but from both angles. I was looking at it, some of the, like, especially when the Haitian refugees came over, I was like, boy, you talk about a lot of witnesses. They could be bringing in witnesses against the Clinton Foundation and Hillary and Bill and their whole, in the whole human trafficking. Um, they brought in a lot of witnesses, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because it was their kids that were taken.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about an angry group of people, and they should be, if you look at it, I look at everything I honestly just completely, if I'm feeling I'm looking at one thing, one situation from a certain viewpoint, I stop and I go, okay, let me switch spots here and argue the other side or see it from a different perspective. And that's kind of where I was like, when especially with all the Haitians, because everybody knows Haitians are poor, right? I mean, it's pretty documented. It's an island, right?
Yep.
They're not swimming off the island. They've done that before. It's not that they haven't. We've seen that. But what I'm saying is they're showing up. They're obviously being transported from Haiti to South America, and they're brought through South America, Central America, and then up through Mexico into the United States. That takes money. That takes
absolutely
resources, and they show up not looking like they've any worse for the wear. They don't look unfed.
So, Todd, I just, we were just showing those people walking in, and you said, yeah, Soros funded. I need to take just a minute break. Will you walk them through 330, 331, and 329? Because this is pretty significantly directed to the News Unlocks the Map.
Yep.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, so you won't be able to hear me, right? I always like having this moment, like
every word.
Oh gosh, you're still listening. Okay.
No, actually, I won't be able to.
At least fake your footsteps away, like. Yeah. So, I think I'll go in descending order. Would you recommend that? Okay. So 331 is December 11th, 2017. Maybe all these wives are their own high priestess cult. That where we'll see the symbolism, the slip ups. Now that was an Anon just posting. And then December 11th, the same day, post 3:30, we have a special place picked out for GS. Really special. Q. And I think you know who they're talking about with the GS. That's not for Gulfstream. That's George Soros. And then you have on the same day again, 3/29, December 11th, 2017. It's a list of weddings. And you have Melissa Schiff, Robert D. Soros. Melissa Robin Schiff, the daughter of Marlene S. Schiff of New York and the late Dr. Haskell Schiff, was married May 5th to Robert Daniel Soros, a son of Annalise Soros and George Soros, both of New York. Dr. David Posner performed the ceremony at Temple Emmanuel in New York. Mrs. Soros, 28 years old, graduated from New York University. She is a freelance photographer and filmmaker in New York. Her father was a renal specialist at the Duke University Medical Center in Durham, North Carolina. Huh. Whoa. I never really put that together, but maybe comment on that afterwards. Her mother is the chairwoman of the advisory board of the Entrepreneurial Center of the Wharton School, major business school. Mr. Soros, also 28 and an NYU grad, is an investor in New York. His stepmother, Susan W. Soros, is the director of the Bard College Graduate Center for Studies in the Decorative Arts. His father is the chairman of Soros Fund Management in New York. He is the founder of Central European University in Prague, as well as a network of foundations in Eastern Europe. Okay, Dave, let's see. Are you back?
Yeah.
All right. So the Duke University Medical Center in Durham, North Carolina.
Yes.
And he was a renal specialist, which is dealing with the kidneys, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
This was published
Hey,
in
dude,
May
Tony's
25th,
just calling in.
Who's that?
Tony O'Brien.
Oh, cool. Yeah, take that.
Okay. And thank you for this dive. I don't think we're going to be on long, but if you got some more, just hit me back up.
Yes, I'm going to look at this a little closer. If I get anything, any hookups, I'll give you a buzz back. If not, bye.
All right.
Bye.
See you guys. Thanks,
right.
Cindy. Thanks, Todd. Love you guys.
All right, bye.
All right. Bye-bye. And Cindy Johnson and Todd Gediminsky, my friends. And now please welcome to the Truthcast, Tony O'Brien. Hello, Tony. How are you?
Hello, great. Let me close that other window. Okay.
And can you hear me all right?
I can hear you great. Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Fabulous. Thanks for joining us. We have 2,131 beautiful humans in the Sned Shed tonight. So welcome. You are right on time. So happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here in this great community that you've been working so hard for.
Thank you so much. And I know that you have a community of your own that you're working very hard with and to educate, to absolutely heal, help their body to heal. Can you tell us, obviously we're in the middle of a pandemic. And many people are getting sick and many people are staying well. How have you been doing, and how have you been doing it?
Well, I've been doing very well. I've been around a lot of people over the last couple years, and I haven't been ill in any way at all. So very happy about that.
As have I. I have not gotten any of these dangerous viruses, and we have been doing a lot of talk about prophylactic, ivermectin, HCQ, zinc, all the nutrients, the vitamins that seem to really be working. We've been trying to help people get some ivermectin, and that has been blocked on many different areas. So we kind of got to jump through some different hoops, and it's just been crazy. And certainly, one of the things that we talk about a lot is Healy, who is how you and I met through Healy, and we have many Snedheads who have gotten the Healy and are using it to great success. Will you tell us a little bit about how you're helping people that are sick? Are you working with anybody that's been jabbed? How are you using the device? What else are you using? Just a general information would be fantastic.
Sure. Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to not be encountering with people that have gotten sick or have been around people that have had the jab. So certainly it's been all the way across the board. And, one of the things with our natural immunity is you can take that natural immunity back to the cellular level. And with that, if our cells are charged up with enough voltage, we have the strength to fight off these things, whether it's the virus itself or these other things that are getting transmitted into our fields.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you're focusing from a standpoint of keeping people healthy. So you're going straight to the cells. You're really focusing on that. And I know that you've made trips to Mexico, helping people with the C word that are struggling, and you're using the Healy for that. And certainly this is information that I want the Snedheads to hear about the Healy and the benefits that you're able to use with that. But this is also just a general, really about immunity and checking in with you and what you're doing successfully. Are there certain protocols that you're following, certain programs you're following that are really helping people through this?
Yeah, myself and a number of others have been using one of the programs in particular that's called Bioenergetic Boost.
Yes.
And this is actually, as you know, this is actually a program that the company created right when this stuff first broke out.
Yes.
And with all the programs that are working with the Healy, it's working on many levels. So you can kind of read between the lines and all of that, what it's helping us mitigate in our physical, mental, emotional, and mental fields. So running the Bioenergetic Boost every day is really doing wonders for keeping you strong on all levels and keeping your biofield strong. And I think that is one of the things that's really helping us not come down with things by being around other people, because our own biofield is so strong that it's not penetrating us. So that with your focused intent, and being strong at the cellular level and out through our biofields, I think is really proving to be working really well.
Well, that to me is kind of one of the things that I love about the Healy is that we're able to surround ourselves a bit, right? Almost like this force field.
Yes.
Yeah.
kind of protects us. Like when we travel, we always put the Healy on with the coil, and we kind of feel, almost even imagine this bubble around
Yeah.
us. And that's to me been just really invaluable because, you know, the mask, we're not fans of the mask, and so we're interacting with people quite a bit without the mask, and then turning around and you know, running the bio once a day and doing some other things that are definitely making a huge, I think, a huge difference in how we're you know, walking through this. Almost, yeah, it's just. And people that have also had a lot of success with it once they are sick. What's your take on the whole thing? Because I want to hear, we're hearing from different people, like, you know, how do you move through the world? How do you communicate with people that, you know, that are afraid, that are masking, that are jabbing, that are doing all these things? How do you red pill people?
You know, I mean, it's an individual thing.
Yeah.
I guess obviously that's I said an obvious thing. It's very individual with each person.
Right.
But how I come about it in a different way to each person is just about how well I'm doing and how well I'm feeling. And I'm never masked. I'm around people all the time. And I'm very healthy. You can tell I'm healthy, and I've been healthy, and I continue to be healthy, and I don't exude any fear. So I just kind of connect with them, and you know, I may talk a little bit about, you know, how good I'm feeling or how good I'm doing, or and kind of open it that way.
Are you finding them open to that? Because one of the things that we're seeing is certainly a division of family members, a division of loved ones, a division of friends, right? That that we're trying to navigate. We're trying to connect. We're trying to reach out to them and stop them from just like a lemming walking off these cliffs that are being put in front of them without even realizing it. And we're being met with a lot of aggression, a lot of indoctrination, right? Thus the title of the show is the indoctrination, because if we can expose people to that, then, and let them know that, okay, you're listening to CNN, you're listening to these news stations. Are you aware of their connection with pharma? You know, are you aware of their connection with companies like BlackRock and these companies that own pharma, and so there's this blinders that these people have on that we're trying to get off, and it's not easy. And unfortunately, the aftermath of all this is going to be devastating as well, I think. Do you have a prediction of what you see these jabs doing? And do you think that, you know, with any protocol that we can get past that, or get, you know, help to reach them and help them?
Well, I believe for every problem there is a solution always existing. I think we certainly don't know exactly what it could be, because if you've dove down into what's really inside these things, you see how really devastating it is, and how complex it is, and yeah. So I think we are going to see a fallout, as you say, and it's going to depend on so many factors. It's really going to be, you know, it's like we're going to kind of watch and see, but I think we should be prepared for a lot of people to get really ill.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what you know, I fear, you know, the ones that don't have problems right away are going to have problems down the road. And, you know, how are we going to deal with that? How are we going help them? How are we going to, pray for them, help them medically, emotionally? I think it's going to be a devastating fallout, unfortunately. I'm hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst because of what we know about these jabs. It's quite tragic how many people have fallen into this trap, if you will. I have seen documentation that there are different stages of the jab. That some are saline, some are very dangerous, some are not so dangerous. We've seen that there are different batches that just came out in the past couple of days. So we're doing some research into that to find out, where those batches were released. A lot of red states, supposedly. Greg Reese did a piece on this that we shared last night. So they're really attacking. I mean, this is a genocide. It was all planned from the get-go, and we're aware of that. And but we're also, because of our awareness, we're not fearful because we know what to avoid. If you're, trying to keep from getting mugged, you know where to avoid, as best you can. I mean, you never know, but you kind of stay away from certain areas. And that's kind of what we're doing. And we're not falling into the fear trap, which is the worst immune suppressant there is, right?
Yes.
I mean, the fear destroys our immune system. It's quite tragic. Is there anything else you'd like to share about? And I'd love for people to be able to find you on Telegram. You have what's your Telegram channel?
Well, my Telegram is @LiveLighter.
Okay.
And
@Live Lighter.
Yeah.
Let me just drop that. Here, where's my drop here? So, @Live Lighter. Lighter. @Live Lighter. Is that it right there?
That's it.
Awesome. Tony O'Brien. And tell me about some of the things that you dropped there, like some of the info and some of the things.
Well, that's my personal one.
Okay.
The other group is all about the frequency device, is all about the Healy.
Okay. And which one is that?
The Frequency Tribe Private.
Frequency Tribe Private. Awesome.
Yes.
Frequency Tribe Private. So you can find Tony, folks, and you have been involved in Healy, so you know all about that. You also very holistic. You know a lot of different things about healing and building your immune system. So I highly recommend people find you and connect with you. And thanks for joining us tonight and sharing some of your insight into this. And we're seeing all different kinds of all different walks of life. We have all different socioeconomic levels and ages, and both genders in our audience, and everyone's in their own very unique, very different scenario of their life, and who they're with, who they're not with, who they're connected with, who people think they're crazy, and they come here and they're not crazy. And it's kind of nice to find your tribe. This is our tribe.
I was just going to say that. That's I think one of the most important things, and I think it's something kind of really critical about our healing and our empowerment is connecting with our tribe.
Yes, absolutely.
I think that's an important. We're social creatures.
Yep.
And we need that. So that's another important piece to it.
Absolutely. Well, folks, Tony has been just such a huge support in the Healy world. As a matter of fact, lended us a Healy when we didn't have one for both Amy and I, and for months. I mean, you lent us a Healy, and it wasn't about anything other than you didn't benefit from that financially. It was nothing other than you love people. You think that the Healy really helps people, and you shared it with us, and I'm just, I love you for that. So thank you, and thanks for all the great work you're doing.
Love you too. Love you
Awesome.
too. You guys are amazing.
Thank you, Tony. All right, be well. Thanks for coming. We'll have
Okay.
you on again.
Okay. You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
All right, folks. Tony O'Brien. Grateful. We're going to be doing more of these kind of things with folks that can just kind of shed some light on their experience with all that's going on, and also a bit of a promo for Healy there, just because of what it's doing for her and for us, but certainly more about just in general how people are dealing with this and how they're going through the world and improving other people's lives through red pilling them, sharing this information, and trying to warn people about the detriment that exists with the present Western medicine model, and also, people are, protecting themselves through prayer, through, which is a frequency, right? The prayer, the gratitude, the love of your Lord and Savior, and connecting with our Creator, and just in so many ways, we're able to combat this. And I think it's really important for us to kind of see how this is going with so many different types of people. And so if you, Todd, if you and Cindy want to call back in and finish that dive, that's great. But if not, that's fine too, because we did basically the preliminary news unlocks the map on that. Folks, if you want to hear more about the Healy, about what Tony and I were talking about, please go to theindoctrination.com, go to Marketplace, and click on Healy and reach out to Amy for more information. And you can also connect with Ada Lightsned on the Healy as well. So welcome one and all. We are a little bit 2/3 through the show here, and I want to get back into this. Let me see here. Let me get back to where we were, and that is back to the jab. This is the FDA has suddenly halted the use of the antibody drugs that work quite well for COVID, but for some reason don't work for Omicron, and yet they're discontinuing them as if the COVID is gone for good. Very odd that we're getting this kind of reaction, when in actuality it's Florida wants these. There's a lot of people that still wants this. COVID-19 antibody drugs from Regeneron and Eli Lilly should no longer be used because they don't work against the Omicron variant that now accounts for nearly all U.S. infections. The FDA said it was revoking emergency authorization for both drugs, which were purchased by the federal government and have been administered to millions of Americans. The regulatory move was expected because both drug makers had said the infusion drugs are less able to target Omicron due to its mutations. Still, the federal action could trigger pushback from some Republican governors who have continued promoting the drugs against the advice of health experts. Sorry, Todd and Cindy are no longer on the call. So Omicron's resistance to the two leading monoclonal antibody medicines has upended the treatment playbook for COVID-19 in recent weeks. Doctors have alternate therapies to battle early COVID-19 cases, including two new antiviral pills from Pfizer and Merck, but both are in short supply. An antibody drug from GlaxoSmithKline that remains effective also is in short supply. So let me get this straight. So the alternatives are in short supply, and they're taking away the emergency use authorization for something that has worked and helped a lot of people. Do you smell a rat? Because if you don't smell a rat, you may have COVID and have lost your sense of smell. Yeah. And the U.S. District Judge, New York State mask mandate is back in effect as judge grants a stay in the appeal. An appeals court judge on Tuesday granted a stay in an appeal over mask mandates in New York, keeping the rule in effect during the legal process. Letitia James, who was trying to take out Trump from the word go, has said, like, we should give her any credibility or any decision-making whatsoever is absolutely maddening. A day earlier, a judge had struck down the state's mask mandate 1 week before it was due to expire. You know, one of the problems, folks, is we stick somebody in a suit or we stick somebody in a nice dress, and right away they're credible just because they were elected through probably a rigged voting system. Meanwhile, the mask mandate situation here in the United States is still active, and they haven't been doing any reporting on the countries that are actually getting rid of them. Denmark is expected tomorrow to stop all vaccine passport mandates and mask mandates. UK has already done that. Several countries have already done it. And you're not seeing any of it in the mainstream media. So literally, you go talk to somebody who's indoctrinated, and they won't know. So this is just absolutely tragic that we're sending these kids to school in masks, and literally. And by the way, here's what I wanted to show you. This is the governor of New York here. Okay, this is the governor of New York, and with some school children. What can you guys tell me about this picture that's quite odd? What can you tell me about this picture that is just a little off? Just a little off. Nice big 17 right there. I love that. I don't know if that's code. Child abuse. Yeah, they're masking the children. D. Marie, you got it. Only the children are wearing masks. And the governor has no face diaper. No mask. Kids mask, adults no mask. What we've seen here, my friends, and by the way, who's more at risk from COVID or Omicron or anything? Who's more at risk? Do you think it's maybe this woman who maybe has an extra, carrying an extra 30 pounds, right? This woman who might be carrying an extra 20 pounds. This woman might be carrying an extra, 25 pounds or so. This man who might be in his 50s, okay, 40s. Who's more at risk here? The adults are more at risk. The children aren't at risk. The children have the healthiest immune systems on the planet. They're amazingly resilient. Yeah, they get a little sick. But they fight it off. They fight it off. Kids get sick They get through it. Boom, they're done. It's because their immune system is so strong. This is the show. This is what they're showing us. But the problem is that I don't think it's most, a lot of people don't have the eyes to see. Why? Because they're in that right brain fear mechanism, that right brain fear, emotion, creative. They are so over there, or they're in their amygdala, fight or flight, that they're not activating their logical brain. Yeah, the children don't look happy. They're not supposed to be in a fucking mask. It's so absolutely tragic. And it's just, we are responsible. The adults are responsible for this. And we are going to be held accountable for the rest of our lives for this. Biden administration is withdrawing the OSHA COVID-19 vaccine mandate after it was knocked down. It will formally withdraw vaccine mandate for private businesses with 100 or more employees on Wednesday. The agency issued an announcement in the Federal Register that it will withdraw its rule, known as Emergency Temporary Standard, which required companies to make employees either get a jab or submit to weekly testing. It comes after the Supreme Court on January 13 issued a 6-3 opinion blocking the rule, saying that the challengers to the court, including large trucking companies, were likely to prevail in court. Published Tuesday, OSHA said that this agency action, that's today, becomes effective immediately, both because there's good cause and because the action removes a requirement on the regulated community. Notwithstanding the withdrawal of the vaccination and testing ETS, OSHA continues to strongly encourage the vaccination of workers against the continuing dangers posed by COVID-19 in the workplace. OSHA continued. OSHA, okay, up until now was supposed to warn workers of dangerous chemicals in the workplace. In the past year, OSHA has shifted to enforcing and mandating that you take dangerous chemicals in the workplace. OSHA is one of these organizations that must fall, and must fall as a result of these actions. The Supreme Court described OSHA's rule as a significant encroachment into the lives and health of a vast number of employees across the country. Although Congress has indisputably given OSHA the power to regulate occupational dangers, it has not given that agency the power to regulate public health more broadly, the court ruled. What do you think is going to happen to OSHA when people start to sue organizations for this vaccine? OSHA will be over. Ukraine says destabilization fueled by Biden administration hysteria, not Russia. The National Security and Defense Council Secretary Danilov told reporters on Tuesday that Kiev considers and intelligence reports from the West agree that internal destabilization caused by panic over potential further Russian invasion is the number one issue, not any potential invasion. The Russians have nothing to do here. So, my friends, years ago, when the Monica Lewinsky situation was brewing, Clinton sent a missile into, I believe it was invaded, Mogadishu, and totally shifted all the attention overseas. That's what's happening here. Okay. President Biden can't even answer a question about the role of inflation in American people's lives and how that should affect his presidency, and instead calls Ducey an idiot. Talk about calling the pot calling the kettle black. And now all this hysteria, remember I told you last night, what's been going on? Russia's been on the border of Ukraine for a long time, for many months. Why is it being pushed up front right now? Why is it being pushed the way it is? Because their narrative is absolutely crashing. This is the Epic Times, Epic TV. Hold on.
That the actions of the Obama government had such an influence on the current tensions between Ukraine and Russia.
There is a lot going on both in Washington and Moscow, and these very important events that tied the United States and Ukraine and Russia together starting in 2013, key to understanding what's happening right now.
You can see our...
So that's absolutely true. And what's unbelievable, yeah, they're building up a false flag, right? But the problem here was that this false flag that they're creating is going to bring more attention to the Ukraine, which is the deep state piggy bank. Astana is the city for the Illuminati. They have created this. They've got underground tunnels. They've got child trafficking. They've got, these bank accounts in the Ukraine that are all the money that goes into Ukraine for foreign aid comes back to the people, that are making the policy decisions in the government. And Trump came in and put an end to all that, and they couldn't have that. Traffic hub, yep, Duda, no question. And so, this is going to blow up in their face because they have to. The reason why they're going here is, one, to take attention away from what's going on domestically. Okay. But the other thing is they have to also, they have to protect their bank from Russia, because they know Putin is white hat now. Okay. They know that. And so they're not going to let him in, because if the white hat gets in there, even if he were to go in, he's going to expose them all. Just like they're going to be exposed eventually anyway. So it's not even an issue. I want to take you to, hold on one second here. This is very interesting. I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's quite disturbing. Maybe I will. It's only 3 minutes, but it's so important for us to watch because I think there are comms here. Okay. So let's take a look at Nancy Pelosi, and she's going to tell you who it is. So just in case you don't know.
Hello, it's Nancy. Thank you for the opportunity to share some thoughts with you, our VIPs, our volunteers in politics, in our ongoing engagement for the people. Thank you for being a constant source of new, fresh ideas and political activism to help Democrats deliver and to defend democracy. Thank you for giving me the privilege to represent our city and our San Francisco values in the Congress: human rights, reproductive justice, LGBTQ equality, respect for immigrants, and care for each other. When people ask me what are the 3 most important issues facing the Congress, I always say the same thing: our children, our children, our children. Their health, their education, the housing and economic security, our children. Our children, our children. Same thing. Our children, our children, our children. I always say the same thing. Our children, our children, our children.
I'm sorry, but that just creeps me out.
When people ask me what are the 3 most important issues facing the Congress, I always say the same thing.
By the way, she's never said the same thing. She's never said this.
Our children, our children, our children. Their health, their education, the housing and economic security of their families, a clean, safe environment in which they can thrive, and a world at peace and where they are all welcome and in which they can reach their fulfillment.
This is the representative of the city of San Francisco. A safe environment? Interesting. Interesting.
That is my why I am in Congress, for the children.
That's exactly her why. And when we find out what she and these people in this cabal have been doing to the children, then you're going to realize why she's in Congress. And that is her why.
That is my why I am in Congress, for the children. This is my story, and this is my song.
This is my song.
As you hear me say, when you're in the arena, you have to be able to take a punch or throw a punch for the children.
Are you serious? As you hear me say, when has she ever said this?
We say, when you're in the arena, you have to be able to take a punch or throw a punch for the children.
Wow.
In terms of health, my first words on the floor of the House were to fight against HIV/AIDS.
That was Fauci. That was a pandemic then, plandemic.
To fight the disease and discrimination. Working together, we passed the affordable.
The discrimination, meaning the fact that they created a disease that went after the gay population, of which she is a representative of a great many in the city of San Francisco.
CARE Act, strengthening Social Security.
And the United States.
Medicare, Medicaid, lower prescription drug prices, and now are fighting COVID with equity.
With equity.
In San Francisco, the climate is not an issue, it is an ethic. Education, the economy, and the environment are all part of how we address the climate crisis.
There's no climate crisis, folks. There's environmental damage that's being done. There's no climate crisis.
Creating good-paying green union jobs.
Good-paying green union jobs, which means
affordable housing, clean energy, infrastructure,
death for you and I.
Transportation justice, and education. Educating the next generation to succeed in safe schools with 21st century skills.
In safe schools, I can't even listen to the rest of this, folks. In safe schools, she doesn't know anything about any of this. Any of this, okay? And here, let me go to here. What I said about her was basically that 29 Democrat politicians are now not seeking re-election. Twice the number of Republicans throwing in than Republicans that are throwing in the towel. But the one who is losing them all is running for the children. She's running for the children, all right. That should scare everyone. This was released by Disclosed TV. I want to give them props for bringing this to us. Fabulous convoy we showed earlier. 60 miles long, deep, deep patriots. My friends, lab monkeys, what I was talking about, earlier with Todd today when we were on the phone was, all these countries that are saying no to the mandates and no to the next level of tyranny, saying no to the vaccine passports and so forth. Here's the question, right? Here's the question, a very important question. Are they stopping because they've realized they've lost the narrative and they can't continue to push this fake narrative? And there's already lawsuits in Australia going against the vax mandates. There's lawsuits in the UK that are going against these people. And so what is this they have to pull off and they have to go away? Or is this how I constantly talk to you about how they push until they feel resistance and then they back away until we relax and then they push again. And they got us because we relaxed. And then we tense up again, they release, and then we relax, and then they push again. And they move us along that way. So are all these pulling back on the mandates? Okay, we're going to stop this. We're going to stop this. Is it a done deal because the narrative has collapsed, or are they pulling back, waiting for us to relax again, and then coming forward with an even greater force than ever before? Okay. And now you have this woman experiencing symptoms after face-to-face encounter with lab monkey involved in a crash. Supposedly 100 monkeys escaped that were lab monkeys, and we don't know what they were being used for or what they have, if they're infected with something, but could be an intention to take us to the next pandemic level. Remember the last one were the bats, and the bats are, very, very telling that we never contracted it from the bats at all, but in fact it they came from a lab. Right? But they blamed it on the bats, just like they could blame it on the monkeys, but it could still be released from the lab. A few days ago, a truckload of CDC test monkeys tipped over in near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's close to where I was born. Some escaped and unsure if they found them all or not, but it didn't take long for the potential false flag scenario to unfold for a public scare. And again, I think they have been found. They've all been found. Is that true? But what damage has been done, right? Wally says she has pink eye, cold symptoms, and a sore throat. Are we talking about the one that met up face-to-face with the monkey? Yeah, must have taken the 100th monkey to figure out the lock. That's great. Let's see. Catherine says, reminds me of the dump truck that tried to derail that train full of Republicans right after Trump won. Remember? I forgot about that. Cindy says they are carrying the monkey bee virus. It is deadly. Read an article on it. The CDC said if you had any contact with the monkeys to go to the hospital right away. Good info. Thank you. 3 escaped and they killed them. All right. Yeah, so we'll see. And all 3 were exterminated. Okay, good. So keep an eye on that, right? Let's see. Just sent you a CDC report on the thing with the monkeys. Thank you, Janice. Let me pull this up here. Where'd it go? I've got a lot open. A lot going on here, my friends. Where is my... There we go. Just have to pull up a new one. Thank you, Sneds. How's it going? How's everyone doing? Are you feeling good? Give me a number 1 to 100. How you're feeling right now about everything? Right, 1 to 100. 100 being the absolute best. And Janice, woman who came face to face with lab monkey after truck crash becomes sick.
Maine. Yeah, the CDC is actually warning people who responded to the scene there to watch out for any symptoms. WBRE WIOU Eyewitness News I-Team reporter Caroline Forbeck joining us live in studio to explain. Caroline?
Nick, Candace, a Danville woman says she's concerned for her health after coming into close contact with a monkey on the side of the interstate. She says she never could have imagined that just trying to be a good Samaritan would lead to this.
Peel back the cloth more and I looked down in more and it popped up some monkey.
Michelle Fallon of Danville says she just received her first dose of rabies vaccine and a round of antivirals after a monkey hissed in her face at the scene of a crash in Valley Township.
I thought I was just doing the right thing by helping. I had no idea it would turn out this way.
Fallon says on Friday she saw a truck hauling a trailer collide with a dump truck where Route 54 meets Interstate 80. She pulled over to help the driver.
He just asked if his trailer was okay. He never said that, oh, don't go, if you do come near a crate, do not touch it. If he would have told me that, then I would have been more careful.
That's when Fallon came face to face with an agitated monkey. The truck was hauling 100 monkeys from Africa headed to a lab in Missouri for testing. The 3 monkeys that escaped have since been recovered, but during the search, officials warned the public not to come near the monkeys because they could transmit disease.
I was close to the monkey. I touched the crates. I walked through their feces, so I was very close. I was inside that trailer where their monkey crates were, so I called to inquire, was I safe?
Since the monkeys were not quarantined and monitored, the CDC told Fallon she needs to take precautions because she was in close contact. According to the CDC, this species commonly spreads the bee virus through saliva, feces, or urine. Fallon says she grew concerned because she has an open cut on her hand and developed pink eye-like symptoms, so she went to the emergency room at Geisinger Danville.
Because the monkey did hiss at me, and because there was monkey feces around, and I do have an open cut, they just want to be precautious.
Fallon will be on preventative medicine for about 2 weeks. The USDA is now investigating the incident after PETA filed a complaint. The animal rights organization put out a statement today urging the U.S. to stop importing monkeys for experiments. Nick, Candace?
Yeah, how about that? How about we stop importing monkeys for experimentation? We could, in the case, thank you, Janice, for sending that to me. In the case of, like, for example, the jabs, why not just experiment on people? Right? I mean, that's what they're doing, right? It's just, yeah, it's unbelievable. So this is, I want to get to this another time. Okay. Let me see. I want to get to, let me get back to the show notes. And this is very telling. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm violated a stock disclosure law 9 times last year. The Secretary of Energy sold shares of stock 9 times last year and did not disclose the sales within the legally required 45-day window, according to federal disclosure documents. April to late October, and she did not disclose any of them until mid-December after the deadlines had passed. They were a fault of a clerical error and that the Secretary had paid a late filing fee. So if we can't trust the Secretary of Energy, who can we trust, my friends? She sold shares of stock. Stares of shock were what happened with the monkeys, but the shares of stock is what happening with the Energy Secretary. up to $250,000 and failing to disclose those sales within the 45-day window that the 2012 law requires. Folks, don't you wish you had taken a government job a while back? These people are getting paid bank. I mean, if I even had $250,000 to invest right now, I'd be happier. I'd be a happy camper. That's all I got to say. By the way, thanks for sharing how you're feeling. There are a lot of fantastic numbers out there, mostly in the 80s and 90s. There's some in the 70s, a few 40s and 50s. God love you. I love you. Get your you'll get it up. Don't let the turkeys drag you down. Okay. There's a lot of crap going on here, and all I gotta say is please don't let this news, please don't let this situation, this world get you down, because we need you. We need you strong. We need you active. And this is something I want to say. Let me see if I can find what I wanted to just say to you just now. Okay, hold on one second, and I want to share this with you. Let me see if I can find it. Okay. I don't have it. But it is basically this time that we are living in right now in our human history is a really, really important time in human history. We agreed to a contract to be here. When our souls were placed in these bodies, we agreed to be a part of this. And here we are, together, to combat this evil, to save the children, really save the children, not, throwing out bullshit like Nancy was, right? And here we are. We are needed. If there's one thing that these Q drops, in my opinion, told us, was that we are being given this information because we are needed in this fight. The swamp runs deep. Sometimes you cannot tell people the truth. You must show them. Only then at the precipice will people find the will to change, to participate. We, the people, have been betrayed for a very long time. Will you stand for God and country, for freedom, for humanity? Where we go one, we go all. Do you understand that you and I are not alone in this fight? Not only do we have the strength and the compassion of our Creator, but we have the strength and compassion of each other and ourselves to fight this battle that we are presently in. We were given the playbook of the other team. We have been given their strengths, their weaknesses, their vulnerable spots. We have been told what they're doing bad, who to. They were coming for our children long before this pandemic. And now they're coming for them again. And what are we going to do? Sit around and feel sorry for ourselves? Or are we going to get up and fight and not comply and say no? Literally, folks, think about it. That's all we have to do. Imagine we're Neo in the hallway at the end of the Matrix, and the bullets are coming at him. And he's like, no. The bullets stop in midair, and he picks one, and he looks at it, and he drops it, and the others drop. He completely took all power away from the aggression that was coming towards him by saying no. That's how powerful we are. Look at these men and women up in Canada right now. Look at people all around the world that are supporting them. Look at the cabal and how they're taking humanity, which is in the middle of a supply crisis, and they're forcing truck drivers to do things against their will. Do you realize the level of arrogance to get somebody to go with your will against their own? This is the reality of the situation we're in. And all we have to do is say, no, we're not doing this anymore. We're not doing this anymore. Craig says, Q post 29, Dave, please. Did you mention 29 earlier? I did, Craig, when I was talking about the 29 Democrat congressmen that are not running for re-election. And the 29th was today. So I like that idea of the news unlocking the map here. So let me go to that for a sec. November 1st, 2017. This was in the first 3 days of the drops. Some things must remain classified to the very end. North Korea is not being run by Kim. He's an actor in the play. Who is the director? The truth would sound so outrageous most Americans would riot, revolt, reject, etc. The pedo networks are being dismantled. The child abductions for satanic rituals, i.e. Haiti and other third world countries, are paused, not terminated until players in custody. We pray every single day for God's guidance and direction as we are truly up against pure evil. This was in the days of before Q signed these drops, Q. What did Nancy Pelosi say multiple times? For the children. She lost her 29th Democrat not running for re-election today. And she announced she's running for the children, the children, the children. What did I look at earlier? Hopefully I still have that open, because what I did was yep, I don't think I do, but what was the one? Let me pull it up here. Okay, I think this is it. Okay. This was a very long drop back in December 19th, 2017. This was drop 392. And I found it because after hearing Pelosi talk about the children, I brought up the children. Make no mistake, that was a calm to point us in the direction of the children. Heidi Fleiss. Wow, now there's a bucket full. I guess we're going way back, folks. I'll dig, Q. We're digging now. Thank you. Oh, shit. Time to dust off old Heidi Fleiss Black Book. Hot damn, NT has a bunch on her. And Diana Jenkins, they come up with a few. Well, that comes as no surprise. Little Black Book. This was Heidi Fleiss's Little Black Book. The Hollywood A-listers that were named that we heard about many, many years ago. Charlie Sheen were in this Black Book. She worked for a famous madam, and then she became a famous madam herself. She was always tied in with Hugh Hefner. This is all CIA, by the way. Hefner's CIA, Heidi Fleiss's CIA, because what they did was they got compromising video on these people, and they would control them. So guess what? You would have to be, you would have to do what they told you to do, okay? Her cadre of high-class hookers once commanded $1,500 a night from high-rolling celebrity clients. At the height of her infamy, she was known as the Hollywood Madam. She was busted in her home in June 1993 by the LAPD. Her father was a prominent LA pediatrician, oversaw the birth of Madonna's firstborn child. You know, think about that. Think about CIA, how she's CIA, the father tied to Madonna. She attended Catholic high school, although not a Catholic, for which she later tried to raise money by auctioning off a night out with her and then boyfriend Tom Sizemore, who I've spent some time with. I liked, but that was when he was sober, but the school forced her to cancel due to publicity. Served time from January 97 to November 98 in Dublin, California on charges of tax evasion and money laundering. Second cousin of Mike Fleiss launched a line of clothing called Heidi Wear. Shop of Sex scheduled to open 2005. She wants to open a legal brothel in Nevada. So this is all about Fleiss, but please understand that this is a West Coast version of Epstein, and we haven't even heard the extent of this. Okay. She same high school as Bo Barrett, Leonardo DiCaprio, Julie Newmar, Anne Marie Johnson. Prohibited from entering Canada due to her indictable offense, according to Canadian criminal law. There's Canada in the news again. Chuck Schumer was in that Black Book. CIA asset, occult practitioner, Hollywood Madam. So, and then missing. Now we come to Q's bringing up the children. Q, where are the children? Seriously, where are the children? Love, TLIN, OKC. This is why I wanted to bring this up. After going to the children, especially the multiple times that she mentioned it today, 3,000 plus saved by the raids in Saudi Arabia alone. Worldwide lanes shut down, bottom to top. Haiti, Red Cross. The next one is classified high priority. Okay. Now, Haiti, Red Cross. The next one that I would put in there is probably the Clinton Foundation. Okay. High priority, Q. But I wanted to remind you that we have been given really good news along the way about what's going on with the children and what's going on with the with child trafficking. And we're seeing every single day, we're seeing evidence of people that are getting arrested for child trafficking. This is a video game that was created for the Anons, Save the Children. I don't think it was an actual video game. I think they were just kind of saying we're going to do the video game and the cast of characters should be interesting. It's all coming out soon, and we thought it would be sooner than now, but here we are. And here's a drop where it mentions the children 3 times. And so there's some good things that are happening. There are some bad things that are happening. This has always been the case throughout history. But there's one thing that I know for sure, and that is that we are a part of this existing history. And unlike that feeling that we've had in the past of, oh, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? I think, and I think you agree, that this is different. That this is different. Okay? And we're a part of it. And we have the ability to stop it. Right? And so so there you have it. I want to get back to the show notes here and see what else we have left. Let me bring you here. The U.S. prepares weapons shipment bound for Ukraine. They've already sent military equipment to the Ukraine, so that's more of the buildup of the same. Let's see. Oh, this is good. PolitiFact, Chrissy Clark dropped this. PolitiFact is calling out Winsome Sears for falsely and claiming that LCPS paid about $300,000 for critical race theory inspired. That's the Loudoun County Public Schools. Paid about $300,000 for critical race theory inspired training. Well, your humble Pointer alumni is here with receipts, and LCPS did pay upwards for this. And these are the receipts. Very telling. And here it is. Let me see if I can blow that up for you. All right, my friends, we are still 1,700 plus in the theater. Welcome one and all. This is the Equity Collaborative LLC invoice dated, right? Equity Collaborative LLC is a supplier for these critical race theory leadership team planning meetings, and I think this is all for guidance. Like, I don't think any of it's materials, okay? Although some of it could be. And let's look at the Equity Collaborative. LLC. The educational equity, creating equitable learning environments, coaching, supporting change. Let's see. Let's see if they talk to us about who's involved. But I do want to bring you to this, and I want to remind you, we covered this many months ago. Attorney General Garland's son-in-law benefits from critical race theory. We broke this to you after Garland sent the letter out talking to his attorneys general to watch out for the parents at the school board meetings, and that they should be monitored. right, and reported. What were the parents doing at those school board meetings? They were speaking out against critical race theory being taught in their schools. Some other things as well, like masks in schools and you know, sex education and pornography shown at a very young age, the teaching of 11 genders and things like that. But the primary thing on the top of the list were the masks and the critical race theory. And not once did he, in front of Congress, or did anybody in Congress, which tells me we still have a lot of people in Congress that have yet to announce retirement, not running for re-election, et cetera, you're going to see D.C. cleaned out. So a Freedom of Information Act requested by America First Legal has revealed Garland's daughter is married to Zan Tanner, who holds a top position at Panorama Education. Okay, let me pull that up. We just pulled up Educational Equity, the Equity Collaborative, right? And now let's pull up Panorama Education. And supporting student success with safe schools to achieve better student outcomes. We're proud to help districts in all 50 states build thriving schools, better graduation rates, more students feel belonging, fewer behavioral referrals. These are all percentages that that can be fudged, and I'm sure were. Because this is the group that's pushing critical race theory in the schools. And I think this is, I don't think this, let's see, social emotional learning. Where students thrive. I think this is the organization. Oh yeah. By the way, they do surveys. They do a lot of surveys as well, right? And what they're doing with these surveys is they're gathering information on your children, and they're selling that information as well. So the schools, through all this money that's being funneled into these schools, okay, they're getting information from our children and selling that information just like big tech sells our information. Okay. Yeah, Jackie, some of our schools are teaching kindergartners sexual positions, Washington State. Think about that. Think about what they're doing to our next generation. They're masking them and they're teaching them sex. I mean, they're attacking our most innocent. The children again. That's why Pelosi's coming back. The company, Panorama, that Tanner works for, Garland's son-in-law, you know, the guy that, you know, he had to give his daughter's hand in marriage to, right? The company he works for received $16 million from Facebook in 2017 to promote critical race theory and gender ideology programs in schools. Okay? So what's happened is they've done this. Hello, my dear. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Love you. Oh, wow. Looks good. See ya. Little sweet potato with some sour cream and a little salad there. How about that? Nice. So I'm actually probably going to eat this offline here because I want to wrap up the show. But so the other thing too, though, is that isn't mentioned in this article, is that this company, I believe the number was 28 million that they received from the school boards, the school systems. And so I don't have that article, but we covered this months ago. And so keep an eye out for that on the Panorama Education and what that meant for Garland's son-in-law. I think it was either $12 or $28 million that that company got directly from the school systems, as well as the Facebook, $17 million. And guess what? If Facebook is giving them $17 million, they're getting more than that back in the information about these children. Think about that. The parents through the school are giving their children over to this school that are now doing surveys with these children to find out, all about them, and then they're selling that information to Facebook. So if you think you're keeping your kid off social media and the trappings of it in terms of their information being stolen, right? They're getting it. Even if they're not on Facebook, they're getting it. They're getting it through the school system. And that's why people are choosing to homeschool. That's why people are choosing different levels of education for their children. And it's been the best thing that's ever happened. The education system needed to collapse in this country and around the world. I will check my email. Thank you, Christy. And this was the 29th that announced Jim Cooper said, I'm not running for re-election after 32 years in office. I'll be leaving Congress next year. This is a Tennessee, Nashville congressman right here. Okay. Let me, before we get to the memes, let me check my email that Christy's asking me to check real quick. Thanks to Christy Nance Taylor, folks, and your prayers for her as she has been battling this virus as well. And I want to, holy cow, okay. Oh, I want to do, she wants me to check out this Tim Tebow video, which I just pulled up, and where'd it go? I'll just pull it up again. Here, let me pull that up for you.
We'll get there when we get there. Try telling that to Mimi, who writes, we were beaten, tortured, and men would use us in ways that were not human. I saw so many ladies die because they had been tortured, kidnapped, dismembered by men. People who needed human sacrifices for their witchcraft would come and steal women off the streets and take them to witchcraft doctors because they knew no one cared about them. We were not considered to be human beings. Once I was sold to a cannibal. I didn't even know until I reached his house and saw all of his weapons. I escaped and slept in a banana plantation as he searched for me all night. Why do we run? Because she's in chaos and crisis. And why would you let her go through one more day like that? That's why when we say one of our non-negotiables is a rescue mission, what else is there?
Whoa. Whoa. Thanks for dropping that to me, Christy, and whoever shared that with you. Tim Tebow, hats off to you, brother. Yeah, this needs to stop, and we have the ability to stop it. This is video from the border.
These little kids are passed out, y'all. These little kids. ¿Usted con quién viene, caballero?
Solo.
¿Usted solo con ¿Y la mamá?
La mamá me abandonó.
¿La mamá qué?
Me abandonó.
Christy, come here. So, remember I told you guys that they're going to say that?
Yep.
¿Qué le pasó a la mamá?
Me abandonó, los dejamos, pues, separamos.
¿Te abandonó?
Sí, soy
¿Y
padre
te dejó a los
soltero.
dos niños?
Sí.
Ok. ¿Y cuántos años tienen los niños?
Él tiene 4 y ella 3.
4 and 3 years old, and he says that his wife abandoned him, and she left him the 2 kids. It's breakup season in down there, South of America, yo. There's a lot of heartbreaks going on.
Oh, man. You know what's really sad though is most of these children look like this isn't just a natural sleep. They are out.
Look, they're sedated. They are sedated. Look at them.
Look at them. This is not
Look
normal.
at, he's just like completely lunched over.
Ask them when the last time they ate was.
¿Cuándo fue la última vez que comieron los niños? These little kids are passed out, y'all.
So this is what's happening down at the border.
These little kids. ¿Usted con quién viene, caballero? Usted.
They're, the question is, are they being trafficked or are they actual family members? There are both at the border, right? There are those that are being trafficked, and there are those that are with family members. But we've heard multiple stories of the fact that they are not with their family. They're with coyotes. And they were sold or, and bought or stolen and trafficked, right? Yeah. Dana Bowman has dropped this for us, folks. This is, I think, we're seeing more lights at the border. There's more lights at the White House. See the flashes going on in the White House. More comms as to the fact that nobody's in there, or is it some internal explosions happening for a demolition of this? I've talked about the demolition of D.C. As a, I've talked about the Capitol being used as a museum of satanic witchcraft, a satanic sacrifice. Look at these lights. Somebody caught it and blew it up here. Very interesting. What the hell is that? But the bottom line here is something's off. Something just ain't right, and thank you, Dana, for that. And it's just, I think that all these institutions have to fall, but they're not going to fall on their own. We need to pick up a hammer virtually. I'm talking about not actual, damage to the buildings or anything, but we are going to take them down because of the criminality and because of the absolute tyranny, because of the crimes against humanity. These are all real, and these are all being exposed every single day. And this exposure of these is what's driving the awakening, the Great Awakening. And never before in human history have more people been awake. Looks like a person in the window. Okay. I'll go back to that. Oh, thank you, Patty. This is the Love and Light shirt, folks. The Snedheads. There you go. The indoctrination. and the peace sign is a Q. The indoctrination.shop if you want to get some yourself. Let me see. Yeah, the lights aren't car lights. These are definitely internal lights. Anybody that says that they're outside lights, yeah, let's keep them in our prayers tonight, and every night. The great patriots of Canada. Let me pull up the that again. Happy to do that. Where did I have that? I had that on Facebook. That's right. Dana had that on Facebook. Here we go. Excuse me. Very creepy. There's somebody walking out here. It looks like there's people inside this kind of glass extension door. I don't know if those are people or just a reflection of something. But let's go in for the close-up here. And let me see if I can blow that up and make it look even. I don't think I can grab that, actually. I can't make out what that is. But it's just very odd, isn't it? I can't say whether it's a person or not. It just looks like lights. But keep an eye on the White House. But all these buildings, they were all built within this Masonic satanic order, and they were built on these ley lines. They were built on these like how the Capitol building is built on a symbol of Moloch, and how every vote that happened there was an absolute satanic ritual. So every person that died in the war that they voted on, since the beginning of Congress, has been a satanic ritual. Let me see. Just show you a quick image of what I'm talking about. This is, and I've showed this to you many times, but this is the symbol of the owl, and the owl is, and there's the Capitol, right in the middle of the owl symbol, which is the satanic deity of Moloch. And these are the hallowed halls of Congress. Hallowed my ass. There's nothing hallowed about them. They're satanic. This was all set up and designed. This is homage to Satan. Nothing more, nothing less. All of the abortion bills that were passed here, all those babies that were murdered in utero, sacrificed to Moloch. All those young men and women that lost their lives in wars for the wrong reasons, all sacrifices to Moloch. All the crime bills that passed through here, like Biden's crime bill, that enslaved the black and poor community for doing crack, which his son is addicted to. Those are all sacrifices. All the suicides that occurred because of the COVID lockdowns, all sacrifices. The deaths in the nursing homes, the deaths in our communities because of the absolute tyranny that was inflicted upon this nation and other nations. Think about the wars. Think about all the other countries, not just our own servicemen and women. But the half a billion, I'm sorry, half a million Iraqi children that were murdered. It all comes from this, right? And by the way, the owl is a phenomenal symbol of wisdom and strength and power and seeing the dark. But when the Satanists get a hold of our cross, they'll turn it upside down. If they get a hold of our beautiful image of an owl, they'll absolutely abscond with it and use it for their evil ways. So, are we going to keep that Capitol building? No. Maybe as a museum for future generations to never, ever again allow these entities to control humanity? Yes. But that will be it. This is, this is the, how about the Pentagon? Are we going to keep that? You don't think the Pentagon and all the wars that were fought are from the pentagram, which is a demonic symbol? Further solidifying the sacrifice to Satan of all those men and women die in drone attacks. Here's a pentagram right in the heart of Washington, D.C., right on the triple tau, square and compass from the Masonic Order, which is the U.S. Capitol, all the way down to the Lincoln Memorial, the mall, and then the Washington Monument. At the Washington Monument is a break off towards the White House and right up through the pentagram to the Supreme Council 33rd degree temple in Washington, D.C. And here's the White House, where you're seeing those flashes, which I hope are explosions taking out the interior walls of that building so that that building is razed to the ground, like the Satanists that razed our buildings on 9/11 to the ground in satanic fashion. This pentagram leads right to the heart of the White House, right there. And we're going to keep that White House? Maybe, if only for a symbol of what we must never allow again. And here is the kicker. What happened last summer? And I've shared this, but this is for the new folks and a reminder for the Snedheads. Black Lives Matter. Do you know what street that was on? Black Lives Matter, BLM, Baal, Lucifer, Moloch. Do you know what street it was on? It was on this street, which I just showed you. That leads right to the heart of the White House, right here. Baal, Lucifer, Moloch, leading right to the White House, right here. Right in the heart of this pentagram. Have you ever seen another city laid out quite like this? This is the District of Columbia. That's what we're at. Yeah, it wasn't Constitution. The Constitution goes, it goes this way over here. Yeah. This is real, folks. This is, you know, you think we're in a spiritual battle. You think, you know, that only comes out of the mouths of Bible thumping, Christians, that Pentecostal Christians or something. No, this is a spiritual war that we are in. Make no mistake about that. And never again will we allow these demonic entities to ever take control again. If Ghislaine Maxwell's client list was all Republicans, it would have already been published in the New York Times. Funny old world, isn't it? If you need 10,000 armed soldiers to protect your inauguration from the people, then you probably weren't elected by the people. We know about that. How about you forget this Build Back Better thing and instead try put it back the way you found it? If you like pina coladas and getting caught in Ukraine, my dad sniffs the children while I sniff cocaine. You don't think this is all going to come out? Please have faith. Please have faith. Yeah, it was 16th Street, Christy. Mommy, is that a man or a woman? It's a Democrat, honey. Wow. Okay, that's, ooh, there you go. You'll fight for toilet paper, but not your freedom? That's a great billboard. Think about that. The further a society drifts from the truth, the more it will hate those that speak it. God, I am hated. Hilarious. Hilarious. Someone please explain this science like I am 2 years old. Yeah. It's so badass when people stand in front of shit they destroyed. Welcome to Washington. Yes. Nice. Ainsley. Well done. Well done. You destroyed your state. I didn't want Betty White, Bob Saget, Meatloaf, or Louis Anderson. Why the fuck can't I grab Nancy Pelosi? Wow. Okay. Funny thing about getting older, your eyesight may weaken. Yet you can see through people's bullshit much better. Ain't that the truth? That's a nice meme. That's fantastic. Listen, I want to get into a little bit about Racine, Wisconsin, but I think I'm going to do it on Thursday because Christy Kilburn's been doing some dives on that. But I also want to show you, and it's going to, I think, have to do with what's happening in Wisconsin. So we'll see what happens there over the next day or two. We're going to have a show Thursday, and then we won't have a show Friday, but we will cover the Trump rally on Saturday. So we're going to hang out together Saturday night again, which I love doing with you guys. But Friday night, we're going to be off. So Thursday night, we will be on. So I will see you Thursday. So off tomorrow, back on Thursday. And I want to wish Christy Kilburn Blackburn, a very happy birthday. Christy, you're doing some great digs, some great dives. I want to have you on. Maybe we can have you on Thursday. We'll celebrate your birthday maybe Thursday as well. But happy birthday, Christy. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear warrior, Christy. You are so fabulous. You are such a strong warrior in this fight. And God bless you and thank you. And happy birthday to you. All right, my friends, shall we end with a prayer for so many beautiful people? Okay, Christy, I got something from Ada I got to see. Did I miss it? Yeah, I'm not seeing anything from Cindy. Let me see, make sure I search it through her. Nothing from Cindy, unless Cindy sent it via Ada Lightsned. Let me look up Ada and Messenger. And Ada Lightsned. And nothing from Ada. So, yeah, not seeing it there. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together this evening. Thank you for this gift of life. Thank you for this gift of sight, the awakening. Thank you for the great awakening across this planet. Please help to awaken the eyes and the ears and the minds of humanity as to the tyranny that they are under, so that they may break free from this tyranny. It is so vitally important. We understand the value of our presence here. We understand the job that we are to do to engage in this process and to help others awaken and stop the tyranny that is before us. If not us, when? If not now, when? If not us, who? We ask you for the strength to break through any limitations that are in our way of driving this truth home to others and bringing it to light and stopping this tyranny in its tracks. We thank you for all the brave men and women, the truckers of Canada and the United States that worked tirelessly, long hours on the road, alone, away from their families, to bring us goods and services so that they may put better bread on the table for their families. We thank you for their sacrifice, and we thank you for their courage to stand up against tyranny and just hold the line for humanity. And such a strong message that they are sending across this planet to others to not comply and to stand up against tyranny. And we are so grateful for them. We are so grateful for all those who are working tirelessly in this effort. God bless them. God bless the United States of America, Canada, Mexico, all of our beautiful countries, Australia, UK, just so many amazing people throughout the world. God bless us all. Thy will be done. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. My friends, I wanted to share one more thing with you. We got 1412 in the house tonight. I wanted to end with Bobby Kennedy's speech. at the March for Life. And let me see if I can find that from last night. Christy, you had sent that to me late in the show last night. And here it is. And I want to share that with you and then talk about it briefly. Here it is.
Thank you, JB Sears.
I'm not going to share all of it, but I want to share just a little bit.
Coming out today and braving the cold to stand up for democracy and for our children and for the United States Constitution. I want to start with a salute to the doctors, the medical doctors, the healers, the courageous doctors of conscience who stood up with me here today and who preceded me onto the courageous doctors.
By the way,
of
I just wanted to point out a warrior in this fight right behind Bobby Kennedy. That's Denise Young right there, my friend. And she is a warrioress in this fight, and she does incredible work, and she runs Bobby's Southern California Children's Health Defense Network.
Healers, the courageous doctors of conscience who stood up with me here today and who preceded me onto this podium. One of the most disconcerting, alarming features of this pandemic response has been this war against doctors of conscience. We know their names: Pierre Corey, Peter McCulloch, Paul Merrick, Paul Alexander, Ryan Cole, Tess Laurie, and so many others whose lives and livelihoods are being destroyed because they are trying to do their jobs and protect our children. Now, the other really disconcerting part of this pandemic response has been what I call the information chaos. The use, the orchestrated confusion and fear by manipulating PCR tests and over-amplifying them, by changing the metrics on
I'm sorry, folks. For some reason, we're locking up on this video. I'm going to take that as a sign. Please check out this video in its entirety if you haven't already seen it. I'm going to drop this link in the show notes. I'll put it, let me see. Let me put it on the jab. Let me see here. I'm going to put it at the top of the virus, the mask, and the jab. RFK Jr. And I'll put it right there. Okay. You'll see it right here. All right. And one of the things I wanted to catch was he made a comment about Anne Frank. And many people have been likening what's going on in the world right now, and I have been one of those people, as the Fourth Reich, in the sense that the same medical tyranny that Germany inflicted upon the Jewish population and the infirm population, the elderly population as well in Germany, is being brought to light because it's very similar as to what has happened in the past. Okay? So I don't know what his exact context of this was, but I want to direct you to a tweet by Cheryl Hines, who is Bobby Kennedy's wife. My husband's reference to Anne Frank at a mandate rally in D.C. was reprehensible and insensitive. The atrocities that millions endured during the Holocaust should never be compared to anyone or anything. His opinions are not a reflection of my own. Imagine abandoning your husband on social media. People like you give marriage a bad rap. Right or wrong, that's your husband, and you express your grievances behind closed doors, not unto the public. Now, I don't like this tweet, okay? I don't like that she is probably trying to save her career because being married to Bobby can't be good for her career in the sense that he is such a lightning rod for these causes. But I do want to just say that that Hollywood and the left constantly make references to the Third Reich and Hitler. They compare Trump to Hitler. They compare, his level of managing, his level of leadership to Hitler and the Third Reich. Excuse me. They're constantly overusing the Holocaust, and I've even said that it's reprehensible to make such comparisons. Okay. But my guess is that, for example, like this father up in Canada had to hide his daughter so that she was not forcibly jabbed. Imagine being in that place. Having to hide from the law is breaking the law, and trying to protect your child from the law. Okay. And she's saying that the millions endured during the Holocaust should never be compared. What about the millions that are enduring this tyranny, the same level of tyranny that the 1930s Germany saw and the Jewish population saw? I get that you're trying to protect your career, and I understand that this may even be a belief that you have, Cheryl. But I would just ask you to maybe open your eyes a little bit more to what your husband's saying, because he is standing up for those who can't stand up for themselves. And I'm talking about the children. And not only is he saving children from the tyranny of government, but he's also trying to save children from the tyranny of their parents that are under the tyranny of the government and under the brainwashing of the government to go ahead and vaccinate their children. Without really knowing what the hell's in the vax or what are the long-term, effects of this. She's obviously somebody that doesn't understand that this is tyranny. This is tyranny. This is genocide. And since the beginning of time, genocide has been compared to other genocides. So this is not, Yeah, this is not true. Dave, I'm not sure if this is true, but I heard they're in the process of getting a divorce. I have not heard anything. I don't wish that on them. I would hope that, they could rise above something such as this. But man, that's tough to throw your husband under the bus in a public forum. And at the same time, I know he's not making her life any easier. So, we'll see what happens. See what happens there. So, I'll give one more look to my email for what Cindy may have sent. We have had some problems getting Cindy's emails through here in the past. And so I don't know if this is one of those times. But I will give it another shot, of course, because it's Cindy. Here we go. Christy forwarded it to me. This is Twitter. Let me make sure this is forwarded from Trump supporters channel on Santa Surfing. And let's see what we see here.
You're so lucky to be one up.
Lucky. We'll be lucky if we're up. We got it.
First on T, 45th President of the United States.
45th and 47th.
47th. Yes.
I love that.
Mr. Donald Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, Trump National.
He's
beautiful.
45th and 47th.
What an easy game. I think it's pretty boring to be middle all the time.
You want to keep it low. That wind's stronger than you think. Huh? Yeah.
Trump National in California. Very cool. Very cool way to end the show. Thank you, Cindy, for that, and Christy for forwarding it on. Good stuff, my friends. Love you. Have a great Wednesday off. Get engaged, please. Call whoever you can. Support those that are doing great work as best you can. Yeah, I love you all, and be well, and stay strong, and we'll see you on Thursday. All right. Good night.